out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation, working on your motor. A brand new thing, so gentle the soul. We're capturing in this distance the alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, you learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it, let it, what? If you let it, don't let it, let it. If you let it, what? Don't let it. If you let it, don't let it, let it. Don't let it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We embark on this journey to your soul. We wanna have a good time. We embark on this journey to your soul. We wanna have a good time. We do something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I, on a mission to salvation. Our spirit be our transportation. We think you'll do a little love and that is true. For real, we bring something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I. What? We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued when the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and I feel we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low,
So they manifest the war. All they really want is a war to make the big score. The diamonds and the oil, man, you know they want more, but they want to keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Damn, let's go, y'all. All right, peep game. Here we go. Let's pull it back. Yo, where's Bits at? Bits, where you at? Come on now.
Honor a 16-year-old lifeguard and the 10-year-old boy he rescued earlier this summer. Donald Trump again led his misogyny show when he didn't pass up an opportunity to viciously attack a female journalist whose question he did not like. CNN's Kristen Holmes asked Donald Trump at the event about comments from Senator John Ossoff. Ossoff said that Trump is more interested in traveling around.
All right, so we're getting into just the normal national news, everything else, the shenanigans of the normal administration, since we can't get any election results coming out right away. But I appreciate everybody for sticking with me. Let me know. Do me a favor, click the like button. If you haven't clicked the like button, please, that helps the stream. That's what really does the difference. I mean, I don't know how many of you know about YouTube stats, but here I got like 11,000 subscribers. Big up to all the new subscribers in the last year. It's been a lot of subscribers in the last year. But let me tell you, for the views that I get, on average, we get a lot more views here per subscriber. So I want my listeners to know that, like, data-wise, we're going somewhere with this conversation. So I want to applaud everybody and thank everybody that's been a part of that. So I appreciate you. And those from day one. A lot of you don't know, but Andrea, what's up to you down there in Texas? You know what's up. Shaka and Dugu Komet, and people like that. Beverly, people like that they call her Big Girl, that have been around since day one. I really appreciate your support. I want to let you know that, and then all of the new mods and people that's been on the journey in the last 6 months. I appreciate you a lot. Now, listen, back to the news. Click the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Let's go.
With his aide, Natalie Harp, who has been referred to as Trump's human printer, then he seems interested in doing his job as the president of the United States. Harp was notably among the handful of aides chosen to accompany Donald Trump as he stowed away in a catering cart and then secretly fled Air Force One in Turkey for...
Yo, Josh, you asked about the primary results. The counting is not really done in Wyoming and Alaska yet, but in Florida, they're done. And guess who won the primary there? Dixon, that Democratic Socialist. Is a few different elections. The governor, 2 Senate seats, 2 Congress seats, and then a governor. So that's 5, people, 5 seats up for grabs. So there were, 10 plus people trying to vie for those seats. But one of those Senate seats, as far as the primary is concerned, Dixon, she just basically won it by a huge margin. And her competitor, Vindman, spent a lot more money, obviously, and still lost. So it's going to be curious. The next 24 hours, the ranking Dems are going to be asked about that in legacy media, obviously. So it's going to be curious what they have to say about it. But let's start here. We're going to hop all over the place and see what we can find. But obviously they talking here. We were talking about Trump's girlfriend, right? Yeah. Great. He's got a new girlfriend. She has, according to the media, she has, how can I say this? Damn, how did they define her? They use some pretty neutral words, but she's got, let's just say she's got, She's got all access to Donald Trump. She's got an all access pass. Yeah, that's what we could call it. She has an intimate relationship with Trump. I mean, and she is functioning now as the White House press chief of staff. Like, if you want to talk to Trump, you got to talk to her. And she was about it. She was about it. She said, like, you know, when the people were having a fight, like Caroline Levitt, like, you messing with my man. She was like, hey, girl, you should have been on your job. And she was like, let me show you how to do this a little bit better. And then she was like, fuck it, I'll hop in the trunk for this man. Will you hop in the trunk? And this lady. So now you have to kiss serious ass. See, you only had to kiss 50% ass before to get Trump's attention. And then it was like, I'll do 51. And then Marco Rubio was like, I'll do 52% ass kissing. Now it's like, you got to do 100% ass, not only ass kissing, but even more than that, to get even a word with Trump. He left these people on a fucking airplane that was under attack. And the only person he took with him outside his own personal Secret Service was her on the screen. This one. So she's very important. She's a very important figure. That's all. Anyway, let's hear some more.
Aircraft.
People wanted to ask. Somebody in the media asked, and guess what happened?
To fly to the UK. Holmes clearly struck a nerve with her question, because when she asked another question about Trump's relationship with Kim Jong-un, Donald Trump resorted to, again, vicious personal attacks against her, and even tried to drag the 10-year-old boy sitting next to him into the attacks. Watch.
Did he ask you
Mr. President,
to scale back on those?
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You could have almost guessed. What? Anybody could have guessed what the answer was. That was like a trick question. Who you with? Fake news. Like, damn. You fell for that one again?
Did he ask you
Mr. President,
to scale back on those?
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim
Jong-un,
if he had asked you
You're a
to
fake
scale
reporter,
back
and
on
you
those
report fake
military
news.
exercises.
Damn. Listen to the question. The question was actually a good question. Damn. He don't want people asking about that. Let's see here. Interesting.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back on those military exercises.
Scale back. Had you talked to Kim Jong-un or whatever to scale back the military exercises? That was a good question. What's wrong with that question? That's what I don't understand. That's a regular, normal question. What the fuck? That's weird.
Did he ask you
Mr. President,
to scale back on those?
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful?
Okay, somebody asked, did he ask you to scale back on the Straits of Hormuz? And who asked
Did he ask
Against her, and even tried to drag the 10-year-old boy sitting next to him into the attacks. Watch.
Did he ask you?
Okay. Kristen Holmes, did he ask you, Mr. President, to scale back on those?
To scale back on those.
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back.
Right. Yeah. Kim Jong-un. It's right. So if you spoke to Kim Jong-un, and did he ask you to scale back on the Straits of Hormuz? All right.
If that free a question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back on those military exercises.
Okay.
After the event, the White House escalated those personal attacks.
Why didn't he like that question? What's wrong with that question? I don't understand that. Anything wrong with that question? Like, what question would you expect a reporter to ask? What are they supposed to ask him about? You know, his diaper? What the fuck? What size diaper you wear, Trump? It's been alleged you wear a diaper, Trump. What size? No, you would think that that's the question that was asked, but this was a legitimate question. And he was like, fake news, be quiet, don't ask me. Damn. That is pathetic.
Against the journalist Holmes in a social media post reacting to her question regarding Natalie Harp. The White House invoked Holmes' children and accused her of asking a, quote, disgusting and inhumane question. As a reminder from New York Times journalist Maggie Haberman, this is who the White House is so clearly triggered over facing questions about.
Yeah, he was like that. You're right, Jen. See, he was like, "You're a woman. Shut up." Basically, that was crazy.
We got these letters that she had been leaving in his private spaces, and they were very raw. They were very emotional. In one, she said, "You are all that matters to me." But these notes that
she's talking about Trump, the lady. Wow. You're all that matters to me. So she got him in a love bomb. That's what they call that on the dating scene. Like, she's love bombing him. She's like, Trump, I can't live without you. My whole life, what would it be without you? When I was born, I knew I would meet someone like you. It feels so natural. It feels so natural. It's something about you. I must have known you in my past life. Yeah, she's love bombing his ass, and it's working. Look.
Leaving alarmed the Secret Service, who were concerned about it, who raised issues about it at the time. Trump has been open with people that, she's the person who loves him on staff as much as his, wife and children.
I want to bring into our coverage my friend and colleague Eugene Daniels, on the weekend. He's co-host of the Clock It podcast.
That's what love bombing does. You know what I'm saying? Love bombing will take a person away from their family and husband and kids, or a wife, or whatever, whoever the target is. You know what I'm saying? Love bombing will make you forget all that shit, man. And look at her face. She is smiling. She's loving this. Look at this. Here, look at her face.
Children.
Time to laugh. Of course, once you get past how retarded it is. Look, watch this.
I want to bring into our coverage my friend and colleague Eugene Daniels. He's an anchor on The Weekend. He's co-host of the Clock It podcast and our senior Washington correspondent. He's also a former president of the White House Correspondents Association. Claire is still with us. Let me show you John Ossoff. Let me just sort of rewind the tape a little bit more, and let's all watch our colleague Jen Psaki asking Senator Ossoff about this line of attack, which I played on the show yesterday. This seems to be what has triggered Donald Trump into smearing journalists, smearing Ossoff, and the whole White House going into absolute freakout mode. Let me show you his response to our colleague Jen Psaki.
Wow.
Why'd you decide to invoke Natalie Harp specifically in that speech?
Well, Jen, thank you for having me. And here's the point. We're in wartime. The commander-in-chief has mired us in this geopolitical disaster. People have lost their lives. Our naval logistics are frayed. The global energy system is in crisis. And he retreats into this bubble of West Wing aides who are his security blanket, to make him feel good about himself, to reassure him that he's doing a great job, to help him while he designs his new ballroom and he adorns the Oval Office in gold and picks the interior decorations on this new luxury flying palace he received.
Do you think Trump's wanker works anymore? I mean, I'm curious about that. When I hear this type of conversation going on, you know, where they're like, I love you, you're all that matters to me, the first thing I think is, okay, well, does the dude's wanker even work? Because, I mean, what you gonna do with all that love? What are you gonna do with all that love? You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, what the is it getting up a little bit? Like, or is it strictly about the heart? You know what I'm saying?
From a foreign prince, when every single minute of every single day, what the President of the United States should be doing is bearing his most solemn burden of care for the sailors and Marines and aviators and all service members deployed on his orders on the basis of his lies to this disaster in the Middle East.
Eugene, second time in the hour, I'll harken back to my time in government. It is everyone's prerogative to understand how the country's only commander in chief, right? Like, he's elected president, but he also carries out the responsibilities of the only commander in chief, where he gets his information, how reliable the information is at a time when his decisions and his posts can be the difference between life and death at a time of active war. It matters all the time, but especially when the country is deployed in a hot war with Iran. Your thoughts on how insane Donald Trump's statements are to the CNN journalists and the posts from the press office? And I know they sort of play these wacky figures online, but these are really vicious threats against the journalists. What do you see?
It's disgusting, Nicole, right? It's disgusting. It is something we have seen over and over again, right? It's not surprising, but I continue to allow myself, even in the Trump era, to be shocked. And what I mean by that is, this is not normal. And you know this better than anyone. This is not a world in which we can pretend like the president going after, especially the women reporters, the way that he does is normal. And then his team tweeting out attacks about her children. And to watch people, the Republicans, go after John Ossoff and say, oh, no, how dare he talk about Natalie, when the president every single day is attacking women in sexist and misogynistic ways. And as a reporter, what I do know is there is no surefire way more than to say the way that they've reacted. That is the one way to make sure the reporters continue on this line of questioning about what this relationship is and, you know, how close they are. And I trust what Maggie said and what they reported in their book. But there's also, she's always around and she's always printing off things. And when people come to him and tell him certain things about polling, he will say, Natalie, print off the real polls. And so that relationship, the kind of information, as we were saying, that the president is getting actually does matter all the time, and it matters more now than ever. And I think watching this president attack Kristen, who just is doing her job and has always just done her job, and
I'm excited for Trump. Hurrah, Trump! Yay! Another ass kisser, one who's better than the last.
All the other women that he's done this with. It happened when I was president of the WHCA. It happened all the time. And we can't let it become normalized because it's just disgusting and not okay.
True.
You know, Claire,
but if you want the destruction of the United States, it's great.
I was thinking about Cassidy Hutchinson, who's another young woman who worked for Donald Trump, who didn't receive any of the supportive tweets from Mark Thiessen or any of the other right-wing men who seemed very triggered on behalf of Donald Trump. And this one aide, after Senator Ossoff made his point about, and it's a fact, it's not even in dispute, that this is who he snuck into the catering truck with, one of the aides that was there. It's also the Diet Coke person, Walt Nauta, and the internet social media person, Dan Scavino.
Yeah, if I were a journalist that had access,
I'm betting that this midterm election, it could even result in Trump being dragged out of the White House. Like, He knows, and his administration knows, they're watching these election results. They're watching even how many people register to vote. I mean, they're watching it. And did you know there's record high voter registration right now in the United States? And don't quote me on that. I'm saying, look, your ass is on the line every day. Trump is in office and this administration is in office. Like, you are in the terror zone. Terror zone. I'm sorry. I said zone. I'm talking about what did Chuck D call it? The terror dome. Welcome to the terror dome. You are the bullseye. You are like now the dude in the public enemy bullseye mark. That's the U.S. people. And, you know, get your ass out there and register to vote and be prepared. The clock is ticking. You got 22 days before the election. That means September. After September, don't waste too much time now. Like, you don't have any time. Once next month kicks in, the time for you to register to vote in these midterms for November 7th is running out. So don't waste your time now. Like, go find out. Go to vote.gov. Let me pull it up on the screen. Let me see here. Vote.gov. In case you need some voter information, right? And let's pull it up here. If you do need that information, that's great. I mean, that makes you actually a serious person, right? Here, go to vote.gov, right? Register to vote. If you don't know what state you're in, you click right there. Let's find out. Then you can choose. Look, you can go down here. You can choose whatever state you want. Bing, bong, boom, ba, ba, ba. Let's say you're in Minnesota. Click that. Let's say you're in North Carolina. Click that. Ohio, whatever. Let's say you're in Ohio. Click there. Look, then it goes to the next page. It shows you register or update your registration online. And all you got to do is click the next button. Say, yes, I want to do that. And it takes you to whatever specific state you're from. It takes you to their website. So there you have it, right? That's how you register to vote. And I hope people take that serious. Listen, voting is about your tax money. Voting is the only way you get to decide how your tax dollars are spent. There is no other way. No other way. If you don't vote, you don't get to decide anything about your tax dollars, but you will pay those tax dollars, or we coming to do what? Whoosh! We will send the slave catchers after you. We will tie your ass up against a tree and we will whip your ass. Okay? So just keep that in mind. If you don't pay those taxes, we coming for your ass. Okay? So you may as well vote. Because what's life like when all you doing is paying taxes? What is that? What do they call that? They call it slavery. All right. They call it indentured servitude. They call it being a subject, not being a citizen. OK, so do that. Make sure you do that. Now, let's hear some more here.
Yes, to the president. I think the next question has to be, if you were taking a different plane because of a verified threat to you, then who you choose to take with you is a very valid question. So my question would be, why would you take this young woman instead of your Secretary of State? I mean, he left Marco Rubio on the plane that they were afraid was going to get attacked.
Now, put a 1 in the chat if you would leave all of your cabinet members. You would leave everyone that's a cabinet member, leave them on the plane that's under attack, that's under threat of being attacked. Leave them on the plane and only take your security and the diaper lady with you. If you would do that, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that's crazy as fuck, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just curious. Let's see who is. Well, we know. Don't worry, R3. You don't have to. We know you a damn fool. So just go ahead. But everybody else, if you think that is insane for Trump to do, that's just totally disrespectful of his own cabinet, put a 2 in the chat. If you think it's rapper, you don't need to do it anymore, man. You good. I noted you already. Don't worry. You good. Yeah, we got one person that thinks, hey, that's super great. Okay. Yeah. Now, also, Tulkus, everybody right now that's in the chat, you got to leave a 1 or the 2 if you've been enjoying and using the chat. Please follow the rules. You got to use a 1 or a 2 right now. The other comments don't matter right now. It's only 1 or 2. So put a 1 in the chat if you think that's okay. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that was ridiculous. Yeah, I'm just curious about that. Let me see how many people, okay. Some people, man, y'all killing me with this shit. Mark Rodman said that's normal. That's what he would do. Well, I ain't jumping. I'm not going to be a cabinet member of yours. Okay. When you ask me to do some shit, I'm going to be like, man, fuck you, Mark. You do that shit yourself, motherfucker. All right. That's exactly what I'm going to say since you got that attitude. Who the fuck is going to work for you when you throw them out like this? I mean, you have to be a punk ass to accept this kind of treatment. And Marco Rubio is a punk ass. All right, so let's go. Let's continue.
Because that was the only rationale for him sneaking in the catering truck and going in the other jet. So it really is an important question that in the and I think that Ossoff is correct. He has to surround himself with people who are adoring, who are constantly telling him that, yes, he's doing great, there's no problem. And I think this woman is probably at the top of that list, along with Nauta and the other sycophants that are in the tight circle. But for the country, what does it say that he'd rather have her be safe than his own Secretary of State? That's a really good question.
Listen, let's just be real about this conversation. What happens if all those people had died? What happens if all the people Trump left on the airplane that was under threat died, and only Trump and only the people who left and got on the other plane lived? What would happen to the USA government? That's really the real part of this conversation. I don't know who's really going to cover it, but look, let me pull this up. It's worth taking a look at. Let's see here. Boom. Now, in this scenario where the president and those traveling with them pass away. Hold on. No. Wait a second. Yeah, sorry. That didn't for some reason that answer didn't come out. Right. So No. Wait a second. Somehow I was confused. Here we go. Damn, why is this taking so long? Here we go. Let me pose it. It's me actually making some small errors. Here we go. So this is what would happen. Sorry, that took me a second. Here we go. Office continues governing. Now look, the president's office continues. So Marco Rubio, JD Vance, and whoever else was on that plane. The president's line of succession only activates when the president dies, resigns, or is incapacitated. If the cabinet members on the plane die with the while the president survives, the president simply appoints a new cabinet. Okay, so they're disposable. They're disposable. Yeah. Now, what happens step by step? Executive power remains intact. President retains full authority. The chief executive commander, because the president is alive, there's no vacancy in the Oval Office and no transfer of power. Acting secretaries take over the departments instantly. Okay, so that's where we get in that. Active secretaries. Who would that be? Under federal law, specifically the Federal Vacancies Reform Act, executive departments do not stop functioning. Each cabinet department has statutory succession order within its own agency. That sounds kind of like how the Iranians defend their country with their military. Damn, that's deep. When the cabinet secretary dies, the deputy secretary or first assistant immediately becomes the acting secretary. Operations across the government continue seamlessly under these acting agency heads, rebuilding the cabinet. President must formally nominate permanent replacements for all deceased cabinet posts under Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. These nominees must go through the standard confirmation processes in the U.S. Senate. So, Trump, Looney Tune Trump, and his family, obviously, would be nominating new cabinet members. This is probably what's going to happen. And whoever can convince Trump of that would be the one to do it. Now, what if at the same time the USA Congress and Senate impeach Trump? Because that is likely to happen if he actually did. Let's see here. If both the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate vote to impeach and convict the president, the outcome is governed directly by the U.S. Constitution. Immediate removal from office. The moment the U.S. Senate votes to convict the president on any single article of impeachment by 2/3 majority, that's 67 votes, that's the Senate, the president is instantly removed from office. The removal is immediate and automatic. It does not require a court order, executive order, or formal resignation letter. Automatic transfer of power. Under Article 2, Section 1 of the U.S. Constitution, the 25th Amendment, the vice president immediately becomes president of the United States as soon as the conviction vote passes. But what if let me see. What if the vice president, I'm not sure, who else was on that plane? Rice was on the plane and died. Let me just see here. I just want to go through those few things real quick, then get back to this. Now it says if the vice president was on the plane that crashed but passed away, but the president survived his president to remain. No. Okay. But what if the Senate impeaches Trump at that same moment? I just want to see if the same thing happens in that case. Let's see here. Boom. Right. Died on the plane crash that the Senate voted, to convict and remove Donald Trump at the same time moment. The president would pass directly to the Speaker of the House. That's interesting. That is interesting. You see that? The vice president would directly. So, very interesting to know. All right, I'm gonna go back to this now. I was just curious about that. So that's Mike Johnson until these midterm elections are finished, because he won't be the leader of the House anymore. He will be the minority leader, right? So, and that won't, the Speaker of the House is the majority leader of the House. That's not the Senate. That's the Congress, right? So, Speaker of the House, right? Yeah, congressional members only, not senators. Okay, so now that I did that, I don't know. What did you guys? What do you all think about this? Y'all think that this is What do you think is up with that? Do you think this is a possibility? Like, what do you when I saw that leads me to a lot of other thoughts. By the way, it makes me wonder about any type of scenario from this point on. Maybe not these airplanes, but just anything else, because obviously this is a serious time for the U.S. Obviously, the transfer of power is at hand. Even that's what these elections are about. They're about the transfer of power. Things will be changing, obviously, unless enough people don't come out to vote. But that's on that. But we will find out in the midterms, right? Now, but outside of the election, which is pretty much, people predict that Democrats will take the House. That means the Speaker of the House will be a Democrat. That also means they're likely to do other things. And the Senate might change, too. The look of the Senate might change. And you might get a filibuster-proof Congress or Democratic Senate, too, right? Go ahead, Michael. What did you want to say?
Hakeem Jeffries would be the majority, right? If and when that does change.
Yeah, and exactly. And I don't blame. What do you think about that? Like, people are rightfully upset at Hakeem because they want him to say more about universal health care. They want him to back up more left side of the Democratic Party. People are upset about that. But if you were in his situation, what would you do? How would you play the cards up until the election? Would you play your cards differently after the election or before? Would you do it right now? Would you come out and support the left now, or would you do it later, or what? I don't know. You just tell. What are the possibilities?
I would definitely take more of a neutral stance and do it afterwards, because he's just the microphone or megaphone for the elected officials, right? If we see the majority wants universal health care, if we see the majority wants, progressive policies passed, he has no choice but to, right? Even if he personally doesn't want to.
Right. It's not his choice.
It's not his choice. His job is to step in line and follow along.
Yeah, because they'll replace him. That means they have him as a leader, but he's elected by the majority of Democrats. They elect him, and if he doesn't do what they want him to do, they can remove him. He'll still be a congressional member, but he won't be the leader.
Yes. Right. And even then, right? Like, for instance, they chose to have him run unopposed, right? And I think people forget that he is representative of the party's, the establishment party, right? And what they want and the data that we don't necessarily get to see, right? And even earlier on when they were going to, because he would have been up for primary right now. Right? During these midterms, he would have been primaried. But they chose to not have him primaried, right? And that's by design. When we look at, they asked AOC, they asked Mamdani, some of the more progressive Dems, would they back someone to primary against Jeffries? And they said no. And if they said no, that's for a reason. I don't personally know. We can speculate all day, but we clearly know there was a message sent. Right, there was behind the scenes conversations that the best move is to not primary Hakeem Jeffries and have him lose that minority potential majority leadership role. Right, that's by design. Right, and again, we could speculate for all we want, and obviously, I'm not a fan of Hakeem Jeffries. This man represents my. I'm into detail. I'm into nuance. I'm into practical shit, not just emotions. So I'm in. When we think emotional, we'll end up hurting ourselves in the long run, right? I think now, do we hold them accountable if the majority are saying that they want some sort of comprehensive healthcare in the form of universal healthcare and other progressive ideas, and now he solely is saying no while not having the interest of the majority? Hell yeah, I'm all for criticizing him.
But that's also by design, because if you want that to happen, people have to come out to vote for that. You can't just sit back and say you want it to happen when you can't make it happen. You got to make it happen when it comes to elections. If you want Hakeem Jeffries to be, and you're a Democrat and you want him to be primary, then you have to come out to vote, right? if you want new leadership in the Democratic Party, you have to bring out the vote to get it. That's what has to happen. That's how it's done. And if you don't get enough representatives that want that on the Democratic side, then they're not going to try to remove or replace Hakeem with a new rep. So it's like, that's how you do it. You don't just say you want it because I want it to be and you standing by yourself. No, you need to stand with others and say, hey, we the majority now. The majority that says this, and this, and you didn't do this, and this. We now are having an election today in committee, and we are choosing a new Democratic caucus leader, a new Speaker of the House. That will happen in a closed session, private, and they will do it any day of the week. It can be done. But if you don't get that, if you don't do the work on the ground, which includes elections, it includes primaries, obviously. So if you want that, you better show your ass up and support candidates that also feel that. Otherwise, yeah, whatever. It's not about what you want. It's what you can possibly create or make happen. That's what it's about. So let me see here. Let me get, you want to say one more thing? Because I didn't want to get too far off of what this point was. They're talking about Trump, how he treated his other cabinet members. And then so I decided what would happen if those people died on that plane? What would it look like? So, by the way,
it's a good question, right? And it does lead back to civics and who would take next in charge, right?
Yeah, and what about Vance?
After Marco Rubio, who would be left, right?
But was Vance on that plane?
Yeah.
That's
he was.
That's the crazy thing. Like, I thought so too. Like, all the people that would be in succession are removed. And I think they need
diaper change lady is going to be the... Let me stop.
And she's going to
change his diaper is going to be the next in charge.
He's going to nominate her. Trump is going to nominate her. And these motherfuckers, boy, excuse my language, but these people are they just got played. Look, that game that they ran on the American people, he who talks last, Trump, is going to get that way. Yeah, we're going to get Trump to fuck over the American people. Yeah. Well, guess what's happening to them? It's in the diaper lady's hands now. All of it. Whether they like it or not, look, live or die, it's in her hands. Because they're alive right now, and she got more say with Trump than any of them. So whether they live or die.
And it's true. And, to circle back to everything, I do think that the reason why the Democratic Party hasn't projected who they want for presidency is because the Republican Party hasn't essentially projected who they want for presidency, right? It's not he hasn't backed Marco Rubio, he hasn't backed JD Vance, and he's backed himself, which we know he can't do. He cannot run for another term, right? So it's either, he's going to find a way to try to circumvent it and then force, obviously, the checkpoints, to do their job. Mm-hmm. But he hasn't backed it as well. And I think, when we look at a two-party system, the Democrats want to run an effective person against whoever the Republicans decide to back. I think that's also what they're waiting for, too, right? To obviously have the best shot at winning against whoever the Republicans choose.
There's some unknowns. There's unknowns that you can't predict. Yeah. So there's still some unknowns in that. Yeah. So they want to play it cautiously, which means lean on middle ground Democrats. But that tactic was played last time.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So, and times change, like. Where is the line going to be? Now, the line is being redrawn. Where is that line going to be? Where's the moderate line versus the lefty line going to be in the Democratic Party? Is it going to be more left, or is it going to be the same one they tried in 2024 and failed with? That's the question, ultimately. All right, so let's leave it to people to decide. Let's hear some more here, bro. And then keep it pushing, because there's more to this Straits or Hormuz shit, right? And to Trump's leadership and all of that. More about his cabinet, everything.
And I'm sure now Eugene's right. I mean, he has now succeeded in making her a story that will go on and on and on, and it's never going to make him look good.
Well, and the Secretary of State and the Treasury Secretary, I think, are I might be wrong, but I believe fourth and fifth. I mean, they have official constitutionally mandated roles in the success. I mean, they would step into the presidency. So, you know, example number 7,423 that Congress has broken. They're not even asking questions about a threat that whether or not it was credible, and if it was credible, which would seem to be the only explanation for putting Trump on the catering truck and lying about where he was. Why did the Secretary of State and the Treasury Secretary, who are, I think, fourth and fifth or the other way around in the line of succession?
That shit is bizarre. That shit is bonkers. But all right, let's continue here. Let's see what's going on here. There's more. This
Any last delusion that Donald Trump's bluster and weird and erratic public statements and behavior was somehow.
Sorry about that.
Delusions surely died a quiet and mortified death today. As the 60-day memorandum of understanding with Iran expires, Donald Trump proving once and for all that his ego, his fragility, his apparent instability might actually be America's greatest national security threat, as it becomes abundantly clear that he is way out of his depth in the war he began with Iran. In the span of just 20 hours, Donald Trump threatened to both dramatically widen the war with Iran and to abandon one of our closest allies in favor of a dictator who's been nice to him. Earlier today, in a phone interview with Fox News, Donald Trump threatened to bomb the country of Oman over its decision to negotiate with Iran in response to questions from Fox about the parallel talks taking place between Iran and Oman over the Strait of Hormuz. About that, Trump said this, quote, "If Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the shit out of them." Trump also implied that the U.S. would be abandoning one of America's closest allies, South Korea, due to Trump's friendship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. On that, Trump posted on Truth Social that we would be scaling down joint military exercises with South Korea, writing this, quote, "Based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, I am not happy with the fact that the United States has long ago agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. These exercises send a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Donald J. Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful. I recently asked the president of South Korea if they would like to join us in the denuclearization of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they said, quote, no thanks." Trump was asked about that decision earlier today, as well as his comments.
You know, and I don't, you know, to me, this exchanges happen in two ways in history: peacefully, and then those without a fight. And I don't see how people can see exchange, you know, of power, like in that region, peacefully. I don't see it. I don't see it happening overnight. I don't see the world going through a peaceful exchange right now, you know, and I don't see them going through it. And necessarily, depending on how this plays out with Trump, I don't see it happening maybe even after, because, you know, the world was already in a precarious situation, you know, and Trump, change could happen if it's managed by arbitrators, people that actually know how to navigate and, you know, the nuances of what that means, you know, power. How do you exchange power? How do you change trade agreements? How do you, you know, give a little in certain areas while, you know, making sure that your security needs are made? That's very, very detailed work. And people that just don't know it have no way of navigating it. You can only exacerbate it. And it looks like that's what Trump did. A precarious situation turned into a far worse situation overnight with Trump, just in 1 year. It was manageable before. Now it's not even manageable, bro. Like, he's got everybody on edge. Other countries are like, where does our security lie? Can we try? And another country that they've been operating with the U.S. against, you know, while they've been operating with the U.S., it's been to other countries how can I say this, lack of advantage. And now that's changing. And what are those countries supposed to do? They're supposed to just say, yeah. And then can it be done? Can you get everything you want? I mean, I don't think it's such an easy answer. I don't think it's guaranteed peaceful exchange of power. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think, Mike? They're talking about Kim Jong-un now, South Korea. So then you bringing in Japan also, and you bringing in some other nations, Indonesia also, Taiwan also. You think they're okay with this?
Well, they're not, right? And I do think that what's going to happen is, again, I circle back to isolationism, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, South Korea and North Korea are in talks, peace treaty talks.
Yeah,
right.
They are.
To end division, right? Do we think that's a coincidence? That's not a coincidence, right?
No, it's not.
It's circling back to the isolationism that obviously disenfranchises America, right?
Yeah.
It's at our detriment, and I think the most people don't understand that, right? And they may think that's a good idea, but it's absolutely not, right? No. It's not, because that leaves less soft power and less actual power for the U.S. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we look at this, every other country, it's like we circled back to the last live, where even Europe itself, they're figuring out their own differences,
counteractions,
right? Their own differences by uniting, right?
Yeah.
Even if they have minor turmoil amongst them, they're coming together cohesively. Because of Trump and because of the isolation rhetoric, right? They're reinforcing their own military, right? They're reinforcing their arms because they understand that America cannot be trusted. And I think one of the main things is that, when we circle back to after Trump, we're going to be for years building relations that Trump destroyed in 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The relations that we built.
Fixing stuff is not cheap. Fixing stuff is not cheap either. Right. It's not like it's not like just because you decide to make friends again that's it. That just is saves you money. No, because you're asking people to change their infrastructure and then now change it back for you. Bro, come on.
With no true guarantees that the next leadership isn't going to do the same.
Exactly. It's going to come with a real price. And it's also going to come with, I can imagine if it's to work, it's going to come with more integration of economies. I mean, the exact opposite almost has to happen to even attract people.
Yes.
But they still won't want to go for it 100% because what's the only way this really gets resolved is with reform in the United States of America, reform in our own constitutional government.
Yes.
If we don't have reform there, nobody's going to trust us again. They're not going to just accept we won't do it again. Hell fucking no, that's not going to work. They're going to want to see legal changes in to make sure that no president can ever come in again and be like, I'm the unitary office. Guess what? They're going to make sure if you don't get rid of this Supreme Court that is so biased, they're going to make sure because they these motherfuckers might allow them to do tariffs again.
There you go. Right. So to circle back to the last live, right? Uncapping the House, right? Term limits on Supreme Courts and Senate, right? Those things are more comprehensive that will allow for the global leadership to recognize that we do mean business and that the American people aren't looking to step back on their promises like they have with this current admin.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it is. Ultimately, it's our promise that we step back on because those are representatives of the people, right? The Supreme Court are supposed to be representatives of the people. The Congress and the Senate are supposed to be representatives of the people. Even though we have a very we have the worst what do you call it? Democratic representation. I mean, we're represented the least per person with and so when you look at representatives, how many representatives we get for our tax dollars, right? We're poorly represented in the West. The representative democracy is the poorest in the West, right? Now, but having said that, structurally, they still, trust that we have a democracy, and our word in the democracy, the law is supposed to be what the law says. and not all of a sudden just oops, we don't mean that. You know, like if it says if it says only the Congress can issue tariffs, then okay, why did you all of a sudden decide to not do it that way? And so there needs to be clarity in our Constitution. You know, it needs to be clear to other people what is our goddamn law and what it is not before people are going to trust us again, man. They thought the law was one thing. We told them the law was that way. We shook a hand. We made a deal. We asked them to do all kinds of things to integrate with our system. They did. And then we turned our backs on them and blamed them. Nobody's going to fucking go through that shit again. You'd have to be crazy to go down in another democratic society and convince your people that it's okay to work with the U.S. again because they said so. They're going to get voted out of office saying that shit. They're going to lose any election saying that shit, man. People are going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, prove it. What did they really do to show us that they're not going to do it again? I mean, it's crazy, man. All right, you want to say one more thing, or should there's more? Should I just let this play? Because there's more about this.
Let's let this play out.
Yeah,
hit the like, subscribe.
Yes.
If you like what you hear.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like what you hear, if you're here viewing.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Hit the like.
Even if you don't like it, don't be a hypocrite. You like not liking it, if that's the case, because you're here. So click the like button. So sadomasochist people, I like not liking it. It's like, what the fuck? I like being in disagreement with this MF. Man, I'm gonna be in this chat all night. F him. FV Media, man. Yeah. Thanks. Oh yeah, but let's hear some more because Hexet is coming up. Let's hear
about Oman. We'll play you his response.
How do you respond to those folks who say that you are prioritizing the interests of adversaries in North Korea over our longtime partners by scaling back the military exercises?
No, I'm making it much safer. You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect. And we met on numerous occasions, actually, 2 primary occasions, spoken and spent time. I understand him. He understands me.
You said you would bomb the S out of Oman if they got in the way of reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Would you say you're out of patience with Oman, a strategic partner?
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
Damn.
I feel it's important to stop regular programming and remind you of something that Trump's first Secretary of State once said, Rex Tillerson. He, quote, reportedly called Trump an effing moron following a national security meeting at the Pentagon. That was per NBC News reporting. CNN reported around the same time that his first chief of staff, or maybe it was the second, General John Kelly, said this about Trump when it came to foreign policy, quote, the depths of his dishonesty is just astounding to me. The dishonesty, the transactional nature of every relationship, though it's more pathetic than anything else, he is the most flawed person I have ever met in my life. Back to today's news. Donald Trump there speaking like a president who has no idea that the ally in this equation is Oman, which is America that relies on Oman's military.
Yeah, he answered that question in an insane manner. Like, you know, it's just here. Let's listen to how he answered it again. He was just like, not only will I bomb you, but I'm going to take a shit on you too. Like, what? And then look, and then you see the other person on CNN earlier, right? This is MS, but on CNN earlier, the guy was trying to make light of it. Like, no, Oman, they should just take that threat as like, you know, it's just ha ha ha, LOL. It's just Trump trolling. Ha ha. He's not serious. No one would take that serious. Okay, well, let's ask Trump again what he thinks about it. Let's see.
We'll play you his response.
How do you respond to those folks who say that you are prioritizing the interests of adversaries in North Korea over our longtime partners by scaling back the military exercises?
No, I'm making it much safer. You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect. And we met on numerous occasions, actually, 2 primary occasions, spoken and spent time. I understand him. He understands me.
You said you would bomb the S out of Oman if they got in the way of reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Would you say you're out of patience with Oman, a strategic partner?
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
I feel it's important to stop regular programming and remind you of something that Trump's first Secretary of State once said, Rex Tillerson. He, quote, reportedly called Trump an effing moron. Following a national said, Rex Tillerson. He, quote, reportedly called Trump an effing moron. Following a national security meeting at the Pentagon. That was per NBC News reporting. CNN reported around the same time that his first chief of staff, or maybe it was the second, General John Kelly, said this about Trump when it came to foreign policy, quote, the depths of his dishonesty is just astounding to me. The dishonesty, the transactional nature of every relationship, though it's more pathetic than anything else, he is the most flawed person I have ever met in my life. Back to today's news. Donald Trump there speaking like a president who has no idea that the ally in this equation is Oman, which is America that relies on Oman's military facilities there. While Donald Trump might be doing his best to play the character.
What are you going to do? Bomb yourself? I mean, Trump is a dumb ass. Like, this man literally said, we're going to bomb ourselves. We'll bomb the hell out of Oman. Well, it's your military that's there, dumbass. I mean, and how does anyone look past that? How does anyone look how deeply flawed that statement is? It's insane. It is insane. How does that make Oman feel safer? Like, you'll bomb the shit out of Oman, but not only is that not what you're supposed to do, because we're the ones that are your allies, but on top of that, who you would be bombing your own military assets. That's just crazy. I mean, everyone is laughing at the U.S. Every single person that has a brain is laughing at Americans like, what is your problem? How do you have a president that says this stupid shit? Like, you literally saying you're going to bomb your own military. What the hell? And there's still going to be some people tomorrow that come out there and say, yay, Trump's the best, man. Okay.
The strong man. The reality is spoken by Rex Tillerson and John Kelly, and the reality of this moment of America's military posture around the world does tell a very different and very alarming story. As Trump's war with Iran depletes our weapons stockpiles. And
look at this. Have you ever considered the conflict that Iran is not about oil directly or nuclear proliferation? Okay, yeah, I have. Anything else? Let me hit the link. Let me drop the panel link. Have you ever watched my videos before? When did you come into the chat? I'm just curious. You've been listening for a second? All right, here, let me put the link in the chat here. So anybody can hop up that wants to speak on the panel. There you go. If anybody's got any good, cool ideas, interesting ideas. Now, let's continue. Let's continue
here. Men and women in the military. Washington Post is reporting today that the U.S. supply of a drone that's key to monitoring and defending the Strait of Hormuz has dropped by 25% because of Trump's war with Iran. Trump attempting to emulate his favorite strongman on the world stage as our military and national security and credibility pay the price is where we begin today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Obama, now the co-host of Pod Save the World. Contributor Ben Rhodes is back. Also joining us, staff writer at The Atlantic, Tom Nichols is back. He's a professor emeritus of national security affairs at the U.S. Naval War College. And our senior national security reporter, David Rohde, is with us. David, I start with you. And I went back and read the context of Tillerson's description of Donald Trump as an effing moron. I think it comes after this now infamous tank briefing where the generals are trying to tell Trump basically why we go to war and why we fight and who we are allied with and why. And the inability to make him understand the purpose of alliances and the threat posed by our adversaries is, I think, what creates Tillerson to just burst out with that truth bomb, describing Trump as an effing moron. And I think on Kelly's part, General John Kelly had been sort of stewarding the chapter where Trump repeatedly tweeted about Little Rocket Man, which was his sort of the enemy part of the frenemy relationship with Kim Jong-un, when he concludes this, that, quote, the transactional nature of every relationship that Trump has is, quote, more pathetic than anything else. So these are two credible men who were there for Trump 1.0.
Yeah, Neptune,
and I bring that up
you.
because there are no Tillersons, there are no Kellys. We're not getting any window into the honest predicament that the president has placed the United States in. So we rely on journalists like yourself. Tell us, are things as bad as they seem?
Things are getting worse, I would say. The strange thing about this weekend, and I had the same feeling you did, is that the erratic behavior of the president, it's obviously led to enormous problems and failures and tremendous risks for American service members with Iran. But you now have that sort of spreading around the world. Previously, you could have said there was a problem in Ukraine. You talked about South Korea. And it's extraordinary that the President of the United States is sort of praising the dictator, Kim Jong-un, who is in his early 40s, who inherited this hermit kingdom from his father, that they should be treated well because Kim Jong-un treats President Trump respectfully. And it's just astonishing in that it helps China so much. And at the same time, you have the last U.S. Aircraft carrier, the Japan-based carrier, leaving the region for the first time since the 1970s. And that this has been Republican and Democratic presidents, going back to Nixon, have had a carrier there to protect South Korea, to protect Taiwan, and to protect Japan. And it's the rate at which Donald Trump is sort of unraveling our alliances worldwide, to me, seems faster, at least, than I ever expected. And this weekend was sort of a microcosm of that.
So what happens now, David? I mean, he's got himself.
So I hope people are paying attention because the shit that we've been saying over here is not hyperbole. Like when I'm talking about the introduction of a World War III or a new world war, or whether it's happening now, listen, people. This is why you should never have voted for Donald Trump, because instead of giving us an advantage in the next war, he built a huge disadvantage for us to have to overcome to deal with the next possible world war. Donald Trump fucked the United States and the people. And you people that supported him, if that was your goal, fantastic. You're literally succeeding. But if that wasn't the goal, if your goal wasn't to make the U.S. last, if your goal wasn't to harm the United States of America, if that wasn't your goal, you are the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. There's not two ways to see this. If you supported Donald Trump and your goal was to harm the United States and harm the Western world, you have achieved that. But if that was not your goal, you are the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. Because even people in some of the poorest nations, most disenfranchised nations on earth, know that would have been the dumbest shit you could have fucking done. All those people moving to the U.S., they're like, why would you fucking do that? All those people that want to go to the U.S., they're like looking at y'all like, man, you just fucked yourself. This is crazy. So if you're an enemy of the U.S., bravo. If you're against Western homogenism, hey, you succeeded. You did pretty well voting for Trump. That was interesting. You actually got what you voted for, if that was what you voted for. But if you voted and you thought Donald Trump was going to help the United States and help the Western world, you the dumbest motherfuckers on earth. Like, seriously.
Completely boxed
I think this is a
in.
testimony to what neoliberalism and neoconservatism will do and has done to America. right? Like,
say that again. Say it one more time, bro. Go ahead.
I said I do think that this is, a testimony to what neoconservatism and neoconservative and neolibertarianism looks like. Like, this is it.
You right on time,
Right?
with that.
The isolationism of America, right? The disenfranchisement of its own people. That's essentially what neolibertarianism, and neoconservatism looks like in America, right? The disenfranchisement of its own people in the form of isolationism, but also the cuts to social programs, which are the bedrock and the benefit to the people, right?
Facts,
and we're
bro.
seeing that firsthand.
Yeah.
And it's justified as America first somehow, right? And they eat it all up.
How'd they spell it? How'd they even call it? I mean, they threw that label on it. And you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I hope it really is obvious that was just a label. That was just a label.
Yes.
They didn't.
A slogan.
A slogan. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally played people with that stupid ass slogan. People ate it up. Make America great again, when really it was make the United States weak. Make the Western world weak.
And it was a callback to the Reagan era, right? People who, these neoconservatives and neolibertarians who idolize Reagan, they're like, they ate it all up. They're like, oh yes, make America great again, the Reagan days, when we know on an economic level it was a sugar rush that led to us being financially crippled, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know and understand economics. They go based off sentiments, and so for them, that was enough for them.
That was enough for them. And they've been raised like that too. A generation of people with this kind of dumbed down thinking. It's sad, man. But it's not over yet. It's not over. It's not over. The outcome is not guaranteed either way. But if you're listening to people, even the right wing. Even Fox is not talking about Trump the way they used to. I mean, at what point do you just totally play yourself? How do you rationalize bombing yourself? When Trump said we'll bomb the shit out of Oman, asshole, it's our military in Oman. What the hell? How do you rationalize that? What was the genius behind that? What was the... that only shows you're out of your mind. You got no idea what's going on. And you started a war. You don't even realize they're the ones who help you by them letting your military be there. Like literally on the ground. Like Trump he's out. The man is not there. Talk about Sleepy Joe. This is delusional Don. Like, he is not there. The man is not there. There's nothing there on top. It's done with. Like, and we got a Congress and a Senate that has not impeached this man. Like, I don't want to say MAGA Mike Johnson, because he's going to get the U.S. in trouble even more. Just the same as Trump. I mean, he's one of the reasons why we got Trump, right? These type of people that just do anything for money, right? But Trump, anyone, well, I don't even want to make an argument for anybody else. Fuck that. I would just say this. When you have a president that is not there upstairs, which Trump is not, there's no way you can argue he's there. The man threatened to bomb his own troops. That's what he did when he threatened to bomb Oman. That's who's there. There's just no way you can make an argument to continue with Trump. The man has displayed that he is not there. There's no more Trump to be talked about. There is no more. The man has no ability to do anything. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what his job is anymore. He's not there. His brain cannot comprehend what is going on. There can be no correct answer from Trump because Trump does not even know what is happening. He just doesn't know. And listen, because of that, because of what people have allowed Trump to do, which they could have stopped, the United States is marching towards a world war. It's marching towards a world war. And it may not happen under Trump, but it is coming, because retraction doesn't necessarily mean peace. And Trump, whether he meant to or not, he has isolated the United States. He threatened to bomb an ally of the United States, Oman. He threatened to bomb our own military troops. That is who the military is in Oman. I mean, the man is crazy. He's just crazy. Who's he going to threaten to bomb next? You know, it won't be North Korea. It won't be Russia. It won't be China. Right? So, I mean, it's going to be the allies in the Middle East. So, at the very least, if you ask me, there's something brewing, and it's about power. And whether Trump, the United States may be out of there right now, but I have no doubt in my mind, at least, and it's just my opinion, that there's going to be more war. There's going to be war for at least 20 years, something like that. 20 years is going to be war. The U.S. is going to be involved in war, you know, and yeah, it's sad. Or are we going to be involved in selling a whole lot of weapons to other people engaged in a whole lot of war, or both? Like, yeah. And some other people might be dragged into war too. You never know what's going to happen. But maybe Asia, there's going to be war in Asia. I mean, it looks like there's going to be war in the Middle East and Asia. It's going to spring out of everywhere, out of nowhere. It's coming. People we don't know because we're not on the ground in these countries. But the data suggests ties are changing, and they're not changing to just hand over to the East in that way. Like South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, other nations, they're not necessarily looking to do what Trump might want them to do, like might expect. You know, they're not looking to do what China might want them to do. They're not looking to do what Russia might want them to do. What does that mean? Is everybody in the Middle East going to follow China or Russia? Is that what that means? Who are they going to follow? Are they going to follow Israel? Who are they going to follow? Who's going to be the guarantor of peace now? Since obviously the United States is not that. The United States is not the leader of the world anymore. All right. So who's going to do that? And when you don't have that, what does that mean on the global stage? Does that mean peace? That's what we're going to find out.
I don't know what story his own advisors could be telling him that doesn't, perhaps in softer terms articulate that when it comes to Iran. But what is your sense of what their own assessment is of what our options are?
It's hard for me to say. I don't know. I know, at least in the first term, Trump's aides feared him. He had a volcanic temper. I mean, the big difference was that there were people like Rex Tillerson, like Jim Mattis, who resigned. Gina Haspel threatened to resign because she would not allow Kash Patel to become the deputy director of the CIA. You don't see that in his closer circle. You do see some people leaving. One announcement over the weekend was Andy Baker. He's a respected aide of J.D. Vance's. He's now leaving the White House. Carolyn Leavitt, said she was going to leave earlier. And so it's not a large number of people leaving. But the different dynamic, the key here in this second term is it's just Trump doing what he wishes. Todd Blanche saying, I'm going to, consult with the president when it comes to the Justice Department. It's a president getting, more power than we've ever seen since the post-Watergate reform.
And listen, Todd Blanche, he's going to fucking have to talk to the diaper lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the chief of staff at? When was the last time you saw Trump's chief of staff?
Forms, and then a president, at least in terms of foreign policy and national security, the area I know well, who just seems to be making this up as he goes along.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, the utterances about canceling military exercises and abandoning South Korea have in some ways alarmed a wider circle of people more publicly than the volatile and chaotic and erratic utterances about Iran. And I'm not sure if that's because it's just a new front that he's now publicly destabilized.
Do me a favor, if please click the like button. If you're watching, we got like 250 people watching. Do me a favor, only 60 likes. Come on, y'all. Get the like button, the likes up, if you don't mind. Obviously, folks are enjoying what they're saying. I'm not surprised because we usually have a good time here and have some good commentary. And, you know, we do some data, also comparative data from the United States to the EU. You know, we bring a lot here when we're doing this. But listen, get the likes up. It's the least you could do. Yeah. And again, it helps more people like you. That's how it works. Folks that are like-minded, like you, whether they like it or whether you don't like it. That's how they send out the suggestions on YouTube. So people like you that share your opinion will find out about this video when you click the like button. If you don't like it, people like you that don't like it will find out about this video. If you like it, people like you will find out about this video. That's how it works. So do me a favor and click the like button. Subscribe also if you haven't subscribed. Listen, we're just getting into it in this stream. It's going to continue for some hours. Like straight up, this is the goddamn marathon. So the last stream we were there for 4 hours. This is the second stream, so it's going to be like 9 hours. Goddamn, you know. But I'm off. I haven't been off all week, so this is why I'm doing this. So I didn't get to do my normal streams, so we're going to go deep. We're just getting started, so don't worry. I just wanted to get into a couple of aspects of the news, the legacy news media, and then we will go deeper. So I'm glad everybody could make it. Do me a favor, click the like button and subscribe. All right, let's go. Let's continue.
Kim Jong-un is an old, I want to call him paramour, sort of love. He shared his love letters between himself and Kim Jong-un across the two terms. He's very proud of that relationship. But again, it feels almost like he was steered toward a friendship with Kim Jong-un because the advisors at the time feared that he would start a war with North Korea. But just talk about the natural extension of that relationship leading to the abandoning of another key strategic U.S. ally in Korea, South Korea.
Well, I mean, first of all, it feels a bit like a bully on the schoolyard who is not getting his way with Iran. And so now he's just going to look for other people to beat up, right? It's a classic bully behavior. And let's take a step back here, because first of all, it bears noting that to much fanfare, Donald Trump launched those talks with Kim Jong-un in his first term that achieved precisely nothing. Like the purpose of the talks going into it was to address that to much fanfare, Donald Trump launched those talks with Kim Jong-un in his first term that achieved precisely nothing.
Right. So you remember all of those talks that Donald Trump had with Kim Jong-un. Actually, they got a nuclear bomb now. I mean, you know, so what is up with that? And he just totally turned his back on U.S. policy when it comes to North Korea. They have made great progress, North Korea, since Trump has been president. I mean, they made more progress than anyone could ever hope to have made. And yet Trump is doing it again, you know, turning his back on our ally, South Korea, at the behest of North Korea and China, literally right now. What will that create? Possibly a war, an Asian war. What will a war in Asia do to trade? I don't know. You tell me. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't need it. Who knows? You know, I don't know who you are really. I don't know what country you really come from. It's hard to know over the internet these days. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't give a damn anyway and just like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Other people do care and, or, you know, think about these kind of things. Is trade going to help the U.S. economy? A war there is going to help us? How would that work? You know, and it's just something worth considering.
Like the purpose of the talks going into it was to address North Korea's nuclear weapons program, and nothing was done.
Yeah, has anyone seen Melania lately either? I haven't seen her ass. Where's she at? I saw the diaper lady. She's all over the place. Like, you know, Melania. I think I heard somebody say if Melania want to talk to Trump, he got to talk to the diaper lady. You know, I mean, she has to talk to the diaper lady. Like, that's how it is. They're going to have a real moment. They're going to have a social media moment. I think Melania and the diaper lady, I don't even know her name. they gonna have one of those YouTube short moments and shit where one of them is like, hey girl, you not supposed to be messing with my man. And the other one's gonna be like, well, you ain't been up on your job lately. I mean, they're about to have one of those moments in the White House. We about to have a social media YouTube short, social media short fucking moment in the White House over Donald J. Trump. Like, wow. I mean, there's an upside to everything. At least we got something to laugh about a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
To constrain North Korea's nuclear weapons program. It's advanced since then. Its missile program is advanced since then.
Did you hear this?
First term that achieved precisely nothing. Like, the purpose of the talks going into it was to address North Korea's nuclear weapons program, and nothing was done to constrain North Korea's nuclear weapons program. It's advanced since then. Its missile program is advanced since then. He says they've done nothing threatening. That's not the case. They've actually even sent tens of thousands of troops to fight in Vladimir Putin's army in Ukraine, and in return have gotten all manner of Russian military technology that puts the United States at greater risk and certainly U.S. allies. And so this is the picture of what's happening. He's already diminished our commitment to South Korea. The THAAD missile defense system, which is the most advanced missile defense system we deploy in that part of the world to defend them against threats. Part of that was moved to the Middle East because of his Iran war, right? So he's already kind of signaled how unimportant they are. But here's the problem. These countries, whether it's South Korea or Oman, they're going to be around after Trump, and they have other options.
Just look at this picture. Just look at this. Look at this, man. It's old ass Trump looking at a petulant fucking child who got the kingdom from his daddy. What kind of fucking shit is this? Look at this. And he's looking down to him. What is this about? Look at this shit. Look at this. This is pathetic. And listen, I mean, not that Trump is not pathetic. Trump is pathetic. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to look down on this man because he's Asian or anything like that. I'm saying he's a fucking petulant child. Okay? Yes, the man got his kingdom from his daddy. He is my daddy said, dude, look at him. My daddy said this. My daddy said that. And look at who Trump is looking down. Trump is looking at him like, I respect this man. Because Trump is my daddy said this man too. Like, they're both the same. One is old as fuck. My daddy said this. My daddy said that. Old fucktard. The other is a chubby little, you know what I'm saying? He's too grown to be like, my daddy said this either. Also, I mean, this is some bullshit anyway. My daddy said this. Man, this is a low mark for the world. This is a low mark right here. This is a low mark in terms of manhood. Like, this is a low mark in terms of manhood. Men, can you be proud of this shit? What the hell? Let alone democracy. Let alone, let alone clean water. Clean water, sustainable. I mean, come on. Kim Jong-un has, if your great grandpa, let me look at this shit real quick. Hold on. I'm sorry. In North Korea, if your parents committed a crime, could the children also be sent to prison? Let's ask some North Korean facts right about now. So let's get more behind the man, not just the legend, the actual man. Who is he? Who is he really? Look at this shit. Yes, in North Korea, children can be and frequently are sent to prison or political labor camps if their parents or relatives commit certain crimes. This practice is known by as guilt by association, or Young-Hwa Ye. Did I say that right? I hope not, because goddamn, I don't want to have nothing to do with that law. But in any case, key details of this system: the 3 generations punishment. This is slavery, yo. policy established during the rule of North Korea's founder, Kim II Sung. So you got to understand, this is a big difference from South Korea. This policy dictates that if an individual commits a political crime, up to 3 generations of their immediate family, including their parents, spouse, children, and grandchildren, can be punished along with them. All right, so do me a favor. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that is okay in your part of the woods. If you would like this law in the United States of America, put a 1 in the chat. That's only if you're American, all right? If you think this law is not good, period, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you're from, right, put a 2 in the chat. If this is slavery and wrong, put 2 in the chat. I'm just curious what your thoughts are. For me, my thoughts are very simple. This is slavery. This is 2 is very simple. I'm an American citizen. I live in Denmark. I live in Copenhagen, Denmark. But I think this is slavery. And like, I think anybody who's okay with that is a sick motherfucker. Like, you should be in jail, by the way, if you agree with this. So let's find out who in the chat needs to be in fucking jail. Asada Productions. Also, give me a 1 or a 2 on that. Everybody give me a 1 or a 2 right now. Because it's important. We do collect our data from here also. So 1 or 2 will be wonderful. The other comments are, okay, let me see here. Okay, I got you, Assad. There you go. 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I thought you would put 2. I'm looking for, okay, Ken, you put 2. Carpe diem. Yeah, 2, of course. All the rational people put 2. But where are the irrational? Okay, y'all just disappeared now. Okay, damn, they just ran off fast. Like, oops, I bet they talk about Kim Jong-un. I better get out of here. I'll be back though. Yeah, I mean, this dude is about slavery. This dude's about slavery, and look at Trump looking at him. Wow. He's like, this is insane. Trump is down there promoting slavery. At the same time, his policy, he supposedly got a policy against slavery and trade. And, this man is all over the place. This man is just all over the fucking place. And, I got to say, he's the first, I think he might be the first Western guy to have Kim Jong-un walk all over their ass. I mean,
It's who he idolizes, right? These are the people who he idolizes, right? These are the people who he wants to run a government identical to theirs.
Yeah, what kind of look is that on his face? What kind of look is that? That's an idolizing look. That's a look of fucking admiration, bro. Let me clear this up. That's a fucking look of admiration.
It is.
Dude.
It is a look of admiration. Unfortunately, it's sad. And we have these MAGA types who were so quick to jump on this bandwagon that they'll even accept Kim Jong-un. They're like, well, he runs a tight ship. They'll make up anything.
He runs a tight slave ship. And you gonna be, and you keep talking like that, you're gonna be on that slave ship too, real fast. And actually, did you know, like, when times get hard, you keep that in mind. When times get hard in a system based on math, who do you think bears the brunt?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. When times get hard in a system based on math, who do you think it is that bears the brunt? So
someone hopped up. Who hopped on?
Be mindful about your comments. All right, let's see here. Yeah. Oh, Eric, what's good, man? You there? Hold on, let me see.
Hey, Mr. Klein.
Yeah, Eric, what's good?
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. We, me and my family actually met this reporter in a park in Los Angeles just by chance, and it was my mom who recognized him and just wouldn't leave him alone because he was with his family. So I thought that was kind of funny. But
hold on.
He was very,
who did they meet?
The gentleman, the reporter that's being interviewed right now.
Aha. I got you. Okay, let me pull them up on the screen. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So it's a small world. He's a real person. He's trying to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then people have to have a balance to their lives, outside of all this. And that's what he was doing, trying to, enjoy his family and the park.
Right. Okay, well that's cool, man. That's cool. Good for what's his name again? His the reporter there.
I forgot. My mom knows it.
Okay.
I can call her, but
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it should say. It says down in the Chiron. He's been very involved, in the behind the scenes details on a lot of these issues for a long time.
Right. Okay, I got you. Listen, y'all, appreciate it, Eric. Listen, y'all, do me a favor, click the like button. If you haven't clicked the like button, do me that favor. That's what helps everyone else find the stream. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. That is how people like you come to find it. It's because somebody else clicked the like button that's like you. Then YouTube suggests it. You might have a lot in common with that other person in terms of the things you watch. So folks that watch similar programming as you will find out about this video, find out about this live if you also click the like button. So do me that favor. We got about 150, 70, 80, I don't know, people in the watching the stream now. Do me a favor. If you haven't clicked the like button, if you're watching from your TV, pick your remote up and just go over to the video and click the like. I know a lot of people watch from the TV, but in any case, let's get back to this now.
And we had one question in the chat, and no, sir, we didn't get political. We didn't get anything like that.
You mean with the reporter in the chat? You didn't talk to him. You didn't talk to him about anything political.
Yes, correct, Master B.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on. Thanks for that update, Eric. Now let's see here. Eric is also, for people that want to know, over there in San Diego, California. So Michael Best is from Brooklyn. That's the other commentator up here right now that you've been hearing most of the political commentary from, outside of myself. And I am, as an American citizen, located in Copenhagen, Denmark. So I'm an expat. I live outside. So welcome to V Media, and I appreciate everybody watching. Now, let's continue with this.
So whether it's South Korea or Oman, they're going to be around after Trump, and they have other options. Yeah. There's no reason South Korea has to make its entire security architecture plug into the United States as it does.
Okay, damn. That is deep. All right, so let me pause that, and let's continue. There's something about Hegseth now. Let's see here. Can we go ahead?
Summer of Donald Trump's second presidency sinks into territory that can only be described as a hot mess.
Hold on. Did I do that right? Sorry about that. I didn't. Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. Sorry about that.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to On the Line. I'm Alicia Menendez. Calls are growing for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to lose his job over horrific conditions facing our service members aboard the USS Lincoln. The aircraft carrier has set a modern-day record for consecutive days at sea, has been deployed for nearly 9 months as part of President Trump's war of choice with Iran. Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer says Hegseth must be fired immediately, and he is not alone. Here's what else we've heard, including from Congressman and veteran Jake Auchincloss on this show just yesterday. You have repeatedly called on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to resign if Democrats are to take back control of Congress. Will impeachment be a priority?
Yes, it should be. Absolutely. We need an inquiry. We need oversight and investigations. And if the facts yield an impeachment recommendation, we need to pursue that vigorously.
We on the Armed Services Committee want basic answers.
He doesn't want there to be any accountability. He doesn't want to get blamed. That's pretty obvious. He doesn't want this president to get blamed.
MS Now has reported on the absolute grim conditions our service members are facing on that ship. Moldy showers, food shortages, running out of toothpaste, deodorant, and soap. This is what our service members, people who are putting their lives on the line for us, are dealing with, and it is taking a toll. A sailor jumped overboard last week and was in water for about an hour before being rescued. The sailor's wife told MS Now that days earlier her husband texted her, quote, "I think the boat is finally getting to me, and I really don't think I can keep up my Peace Act anymore." Hegseth was asked about the dire moment for our service members. Take a listen.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure that every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. Some deployments are longer than others, and I have more respect and gratitude for those sailors than anybody.
With the health and dignity of our troops on the line, I want to bring in MS Now reporter Priya Sridhar, who has been doing that incredible reporting for us. Vaughn Hilliard is still with us. I also want to bring in Amy McGrath, retired U.S. Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel and the founder of Democratic Majority Action PAC, and MS Now political analyst Tim Miller, host of the Bulwark podcast. Amy, what we just heard there from Secretary Hegseth, is that sufficient?
No, because nobody trusts Secretary Hegseth. He has an integrity problem. He's had that from the start. Look, there's always stresses of being on deployment, and the longer the tour, the harder it becomes. I think the conditions of being in a combat zone for such a long period of time during these conditions makes it very, very difficult for those sailors that are out there. Sailors, soldiers, and Marines enduring harsh conditions, frankly, is not new. What is new and what stands out to me is the anger and sense of betrayal that these sailors and their families feel about the mission itself. I don't ever remember seeing this level of pushback from military family members during our wars in Afghanistan and Iraq even. Families who are normally very supportive are they're questioning why their loved ones are being put at risk. What's the strategy? Why do we need to start this war? Do we have competent leaders at the top who have prepared our forces for a long-term battle? Because frankly, many of these service members were probably told, like the American people, that this campaign was only going to last a few weeks.
That's exactly when people said in the beginning, how long is this going to last? Are we prepared? What are we getting ourselves into? Why are we rushing off to this? The administration laughed at the people who asked. They said, it's going to be over in 1 day. It's going to be over in 2 days. It's going to be over in a week. It's going to be over in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, another month. Now, how long has it been? How long has it been? Did you prepare for this? And this is what it means when people ask, are you choosing this war? Are you fighting this war on your terms? Or are you fighting this war on someone else's terms? The United States of America is fighting this war on someone else's terms. And it is not someone who is concerned at all about the survival of the United States or the standing of the United States at all. That is last. Your standing in terms of being considered in this matter, that got to take the back of the bus. Back of the bus. Anybody that knows anything about geopolitical geopolitical movement of military trade, the geopolitics consideration on the trade, any of that shit, knew that what he was doing was stupid from the start. But when people that knew it said something about it, when it was a decisive time to say something about it before you move to do any of this, those people got laughed at. Those people got called stupid. Those people, really, and the people that even claim to be a lot of the left. I mean, I'm not talking about real left people. I'm talking about these fake opportunists like what's his name? What's this guy who got the big podcast? Joe Rogan. He pretended like he had questions. No, motherfucker, you're not supposed to pretend to have questions. You're supposed to say, this is fucking stupid. Trump is going to destroy our country. That's what you're supposed to say. Yeah, but sorry, wasn't enough of those voices around. And the voters, boy, the average voter on the ground that support Trump, you all are the stupidest fucking people on earth. You are dumb. Universal education should be a fucking priority for you because you think stupid and isolated and ghetto. Yeah. You need a better education system. Like straight up. If you thought what Trump was doing was smart, you need a better education system. And you better demand you get one from this midterm elections. Like if you're not voting for somebody that's talking about expanding education for everybody, something's wrong with you. Seriously.
I mean, Tim, to the point that Amy's making, this is about a ship the way that Moby Dick is about a whale. The administration has not given these service members a clear rationale for why they are there in the first place. DOD isn't just responsible for the conditions of the ship. They are responsible for why these service members have been deployed. And that's the part, it seems to me, that Hegseth can't really contend with.
There's no strategy and there's no exit plan. I was talking with Adam Kinzinger on the Bulwark yesterday, and he's like, look, maybe this would be different if it's like, hey, at Labor Day, we're going to rotate you guys out and we've got a plan to get a new carrier. There's none of that. Like, they have no strategy. They have no plan. The war was not pitched to anyone. It wasn't pitched to the American people, but it wasn't pitched to the, sailors, soldiers, airmen. Like, it was a completely ill thought out, stupid decision from the president on a whim because he thought it was going to be easy. He thought it was going to last a weekend. And here we are. And these sailors have been out there for 250 days. I mean, the usual kind of rotation where you at least go to port, and is every 30 to 45 days. This is way, way, way beyond that. So it's no surprise that the morale is low, and especially when there's no end in sight.
Right. And Priya, this is capturing the attention of members of Congress. California Senator Adam Schiff, who is from the same state as this ship, spoke about the conditions with our colleague, Peter Alexander. Take a listen to what they said.
We've had, I know, at least one family of someone aboard interact with our office and complain about the lack of food and the poor quality of food, saying that was certainly in terrible shape. And that was early on. So I can only imagine months later how much worse it is now.
Priya, we highlighted your reporting speaking to the wife of that sailor who jumped overboard. What else did she say to you about what's been going on there?
Yeah, that's right, Alicia. It was an absolutely heartbreaking story. This young woman is just 19 years old. She actually had a baby girl back in February while her husband was on this deployment. He actually got an opportunity to meet that baby for the first time before he was admitted to Balboa Naval Medical Center in San Diego after he was medically evacuated from the ship after he jumped overboard last Monday. She told me she wasn't entirely surprised that this happened because he had been expressing to her repeatedly.
What? Yo! I forgot that part. People jumped off the fucking ship. Like, what the hell? Damn. What?
Her husband was on this deployment. He actually got an opportunity to meet that baby for the first time before he was admitted to Balboa Naval Medical Center in San Diego after he was medically evacuated from the ship after he jumped overboard last Monday. She told me she wasn't entirely surprised that this happened because he had been expressing to her repeatedly during this deployment that he was exhausted. He was an aviation mechanic who worked on the aircraft carrier's flight deck, and he also expressed concerns about safety conditions there because he said that his prescription contact lenses had expired, and he expressed both of his mental health concerns and those safety concerns to his chain of command, she says, and to the ship's medical team.
Why didn't Hegseth fly those things in personally? Why didn't he take that initiative? Since nobody cares more than me about the troops than me. Nobody cares more than me. Well, he didn't do much at all.
And she says that they just brushed it off. And what was even more concerning, Alicia, is prescription contact lenses.
What? Just brushed it off?
Had expired, and he expressed both of his mental health concerns and those safety concerns to his chain of command, she says, and to the ship's medical team. And she says that they just brushed it off. And what was even more concerning, Alicia, is she tells me that after she discovered his suicide attempt from one of his squadron mates back on Monday, she reached out to the Navy to find out more information, and they did not get back to her about anything until Friday, 5 days later. So yet again, it just shows a little bit of a lack of transparency here. And this is just one sailor's story of the 5,000 sailors who are on that aircraft carrier.
Damn. So there's more. Let me pull that data up. That is crazy.
There can be a political shift, the attention necessary. You have a growing number of Democrats who are calling for Hegseth to either be fired or have raised the possibility of impeachment. At the same time, you've got political reporting. The Democratic candidates have made Hegseth a new boogeyman on the campaign trail. They're planning to shift their attacks from President Trump to Hegseth. I wonder sort of what you think about that strategy and what type of pressure it would take for the attention to really turn to Hegseth and his leadership.
All right, listen, folks, it says here regarding conditions and overboard attempts involving aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN 72, the ship logged over 250 consecutive days. Damn. Okay, so they've been out for 250 consecutive days, nonstop, deployed in the Middle East, right? Reporters published by military publications like Navy Times and Stars and Stripes, as well as concerns raised by U.S. lawmakers, military families, highlighted several complaints. Okay, so the complaints are, and these are established through Guardian and other, major news outlets, right? Substandard rations. Reports of food rationing, including instances where meals were allegedly reduced to limited portions like half a cup of rice and tortillas. Man, when you have such a laborious job, you need fuel in the tank. You are burning energy. You need you got to keep not only real substantive food, but you need also calories, things to make that shit kick in, because you're burning all your shit. You're burning all your muscle mass. If you don't keep it up, you're just going to, lose your muscle mass. Now, look, hygiene and plumbing issues, claims of broken laundry machines, mold in showers, lack of hot water, and non-functional toilets. Okay. Supply shortages, disruptions in mail and supply lines causing shortages of everyday personal care items such as soap, toothpaste, and deodorant. Extreme fatigue, severe exhaustion among roughly 5,000 sailors and Marines on board due to a long work shifts, fragmented sleep, and continuous operational demands without shore leave, right? Because it's been consecutive. So they haven't stopped anywhere to rest, have some hotel life, whatever, enjoy life a little bit for a few days while retanking the ship or something like that, refueling the ship, resupplying the ship, none of that shit. All right. So let me pull this up so you can see what I'm also reading from here. Let's see here. Now, here we go. Can y'all see that? Right. Now, here it is. Incidents of sailors going or attempting to go overboard. According to reporting based on family interviews, secondhand accounts, and official Navy statements. So you can go to Snoops here if you like, because it will tell you which claims are 100% true and which aren't. But this is the ones we're talking about are the ones that are true, right? So look, at least 2 to 3 reported incidents. Military family members reported that at least 2 sailors attempted to jump overboard out of mental exhaustion and distress. In one case, a sailor spouse stated her husband attempted to jump but was rescued and placed on medical hold. In another instance, a sailor intervened to stop a shipmate from jumping. Confirmed overboard incident. So a couple of people have tried and were stopped. Confirmed incidents. The U.S. Navy confirmed that 1 sailor went overboard from the carrier's air wing in early August. Right. So that's within the last 2 weeks. The sailor was rescued by a search and rescue helicopter, treated by medical staff, and medically transferred off the ship. The Navy did not confirm whether the fall was intentional. Okay. Well, I don't think they would confirm much with Hegseth as a leader. Now, official Navy and defense response. Pentagon officials and Navy leadership responded to the reports regarding conditions and mental health. Navy statements. A Navy spokesperson stated that the command data had not identified a statistically verified uptick in reported suicide ideations or attempts. Ideations or attempts aboard the ship. They noted that multidisciplinary support, including chaplains, clinical psychologists, and behavioral health technicians, remained on board. Defense Department response, all right? I guess this is the Department of War, quote unquote. All right. Defense Secretary Department of War Secretary Pete Hegseth, let's pretend, y'all, for a second. Let's go into the world of fiction with Pete Hegseth. Stated that reports of deteriorating conditions were completely misrepresented, asserting that the Pentagon works to supply every ship with necessary resources. Okay. Now, relief operations. To address fatigue from the record of deployment, the Navy dispatched a replacement carrier strike group to relieve the Lincoln. Okay, so that's in the works. Yo, what you got to say about that, Michael? You there?
Sorry, I'm here. I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
No, I think the bigger question is, what haven't they reported? They've only had to report these, right? We can imagine the amount of suicide attempts that were already there, right? It already happened in different ways, right? And I think that's the bigger question, right? This is just the beginning. And I think and the reason why they're having this issue is because they're not officially at war, right? Technically, they're not. Right? So they have to keep and maintain whatever situation they have.
That would take too long.
There.
That would go to Congress would take too long, man. We can't do that. We got to stop this nuclear bomb from being made. It could be made in any 24 hours from now. Got to stop it.
Right? And that's the whole thing. I think that, Hegseth, first of all, he's not qualified. This is what happens when you have someone who's not qualified for the position.
And they still haven't stopped the bomb.
Exactly, right? The bomb that's so important that they still haven't been able to find, right?
Yeah. The elusive bomb. Exactly. The one that the cow that jumped over the moon has on his back. The one found where hell froze over. That's where it is.
Look, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they go forward, knowing that our long-range ballistic missiles have run out essentially without compromising the integrity of the rest of our bases.
Yeah,
I think I want to see how they navigate. I want to see what the progression of this war looks like, right? And if I'm not mistaken, the more recent one was them criticizing their reporting on the amount of spending that has been done for this conflict, right? They've lied their asses off, right?
Right.
And the reason why is because we see that in the amount of funding that they're asking for, right?
Right.
They've clearly spent more than what they're saying they've spent, and they don't want to admit to what they're spending. And we won't know until this administration's out of office.
Let me get some pushback. But let me see here. Couldn't you just be making all that up?
I wish I was. They're making it all up, right? And they're calling everyone else the liars or the people who don't know because they're not in the rooms. And, it's shown by the fact that what they're asking for shows what they've already spent, right? The Pentagon has
they keep asking for more money. That's the problem, right? Yeah. We know, not because we got to go into their books. It's because they keep asking and they keep spending it all and coming back and asking for more. That's how we know. What the fuck?
That's exactly how we know. It's not rocket science.
It's not because they report how much they spent.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't know.
They told us how much they used. They already volunteered that shit. We used it all.
By default.
Right?
And this is a conflict so far that we're not at war with them somehow still, right? They're still pushing that narrative, right? While still fear-mongering that we need to be involved and maintain this conflict. And, it's hilarious. And the American people, or at least the MAGAs, have fallen for it. Yeah. And I'm hoping that at least there's some disillusionment some sort of disillusion when it comes to the progression of this war, and that it is a real war, right? That we are fighting a real conflict. This is not some fictitious conflict that we're fighting.
Right.
This is something that's real and tangible, and it's at the expense of the U.S. started by Israel, right? And to circle back, I think there was
or started by Trump. Do they even agree on that?
Exactly.
I mean, do they even agree anymore on who started it? Like, if they can't even agree among themselves. Somebody asked, do I read the chat? Yes, I do. Now, there's the panel link. Come on up if you want to speak on the panel. Yeah, you're free to just get the Discord app on your phone or whatever your communication device is. When you hop up, just click the mute on the YouTube video and you can communicate with us live. But I do read the chat, of course. I just don't always comment. Now, come on. You could, you know what you could do? You could put a Cash App and I'll read it faster. You know what I'm saying? You know, but right now I'm also listening to the commentary that Michael is giving. So go ahead, Michael, continue.
Yeah, no, and there was more recent, deeper analysis on, Israel and the conflation of anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, right? And I think that that's a bigger conversation, and it's by design when it comes to Israel, right? They've conflated the two, and then they've created a scenario where the sentiments have been negative towards Zionism, right, and conflating it with anti-Semitism, right? And they know that these emotions exist, and they're going to continue to push these emotions so that way they can use that card to say that they need to expand and further defend themselves. And as long as I think when we look at this conflict, I mean, my main thing is no matter what, all these talks are fake. In my opinion, but these talks are fake because the real conversation has to be had with Israel. As long as we don't know what Israel's plans are, if they're not ending the conflict, we won't be able to end the conflict. Right. So that's the whole thing. That's where my whole sentiment starts there. But go ahead, man.
And isn't it authoritarianism or communism when you don't allow dissent? Like when people aren't free? From what I see, there's plenty of Jewish people that don't agree with the Netanyahu, right, and his government. So how is it that this conversation about anti-Semitism even still persists? Because it's obvious not that. Isn't it insulting to not talk to the Jewish people that don't agree with him? Why is it that in order for you to be an Israeli, you have to agree only with Netanyahu? Why can't you disagree with Netanyahu and not be anti-Semitic?
It's a form of authoritarianism, right? It's a form of authoritarianism. And when
Seems
you only
very
hear
extreme.
one side, it is extreme. You should be cautious when you only hear one side. Right? You should be cautious when the only side that is visible is the one side that benefits the Israel government, right? And not the true sentiment of the Jewish people.
Right? Any people, like just people in general, right? Like, and Jewish people would be part of that too, and people are going to, just like Americans, we don't all agree. What are you going to do? That's democracy for you.
On the global stage, everyone knows that regardless if MAGA is currently in office, they know that that's not everyone in America.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's where,
and that's the good thing. That's the good thing.
That's the great thing.
Yeah.
And I think the control of information on the Israeli side has just muffled the voice of the Jewish people, right? And it's because it's meant to conflate any other sentiment as anti-Semitism versus anti-Zionism, right? So any criticism of Israel now becomes a criticism of the Jewish people, and that's just a false narrative, right? That's something that's by design. And at the end of the day, Netanyahu and the Israel government understand that, and they're utilizing that to their advantage, right? And that's, again, and to circle back to end it, to move forward, I don't believe that we will have a proper discussion or peace deal unless Israel's firsthand involved in it, and they make commitments. That's my whole rhetoric behind it. I don't think it's going to be genuine. I don't think it is genuine when they talk about peace talks. I don't believe it is happening.
Yeah, Israel and Iran, they don't agree. They're not going to agree. There we go. Someone can force them together, but there is a way for someone else to make them agree. But deep down inside, they don't agree because look at all the aggression. Like, look at all the, they just left alone, there will be a war. Left alone, they will be at war with each other. Left alone, they will be at war with each other. So,
but again, look, They won't be able. Israel won't be able to maintain that
But
war.
is it our fault?
The
Is it our
NDAA
business? Is it our business?
Unless,
if they're at war with each other?
I personally don't think that it's our business.
You know, I mean,
I do think that it's the reason for the NDAA.
Can't we
and
come
Section
after?
2.
Can't we come after and just work with whoever wins? Why do we have to be involved in the beginning? Like, why can't we just come after and work with the winner? What the fuck?
We have to fund. We have to fund the war. They won't be able to fundamentally fund the war without us, right? And I do believe that when we, obviously when they come back from recess, we're truly going to see how this plays out because the NDAA is going to be back on the table, right? And Section 219 has not been removed yet.
And when are we coming back from the recess? Catalyst. When are we coming back from that?
September we come back from the recess. So we'll see more or less what that's going to look like.
That's 1 month before the primary.
Less than 1 month, yeah.
Not primary. 1 month before the midterms in November. 1 month before you decide who your next representatives will be, they will be making a decision about 219 in the NDA, National Defense Budget, that is on the House floor waiting for a vote. And 219, Section 219 is the part about Israel's budget being switched over to the U.S. annual budget, the normal budget. So there you don't have to talk about how much to fund Israel separately. You could just do it with
Intel, right?
Yeah, the one with Intel, the one with trade, direct trade. Us buying stuff from them for our infrastructure. Like, there's all kinds of stuff in there. So it's something important. So there's a lot going on in this next 2 months. There's no time to sleep. There's a lot of shit going on in these next 2 months. A lot of stuff that is just straight up important to your life. Now, let me see. Josh said, V-Media, please search the failed 2025 Pentagon audit dollar amount. Okay.
I mean, they failed so many. They failed like 5 or 6 consecutive audits.
Yeah, they don't.
Not the first.
Yeah, they don't. Pentagon don't turn over no information about how much shit costs. They just like, oh well, it's gone.
The budget that they have. They've spent hundreds of dollars on mugs.
Yeah.
Mugs, coffee mugs, just to spend the budget to have it ever increasing.
But it's probably more than it ever has been now this year, right? Since under Trump. That's why he's asking that question. Let me see here. It says total assets covered 4.6.5 trillion in reported military assets. Total liabilities covered, 4.7. Okay, disclaim assets, resources, programs received disclaimers, 43% of the DOD assets and 64% of the DOD budget. Okay, so Inspector General noted that the disclaimer occurred because the agency could not provide sufficient documentation or internal accounting control to prove where all the funds and assets were located. They don't know. The annual Department of Defense Pentagon audit covering fiscal year 2025 resulted in the 8th consecutive disclaimer of opinion failure. This is the 8th time in a row they have failed to account for their budget, where they spend their money. So, again, midterm elections are coming up. If anybody's interested, you can always go to vote. Let's pull it up here again on the screen. You can go to vote.gov. Right, that's where we tell people to go to, and you can go from there. Let's see here, vote.gov. You can pick your state. It really starts off on this.
And I do believe that this conflict, they're buying time till they come back from recess to vote on the NDAA.
Right.
That's going to determine. I promise you, if 219 is still in that bill and it passes, that we will be at full war with Iran.
Yo, bro,
that is a fact.
I think so. I think there's something going. That's what I mean. Like, this is not these movements that Trump is making. These are not just little coincidental movements. These are movements that otherwise, kind of predict some outcomes. And it is what it is, bro. I hope people pay attention. I hope people go out there, and you can even, first of all, register to vote. Register to vote. Your vote counts. And they are watching how many people register to vote. These elected officials are more scared. I'm talking about all of them. I'm not talking about Republican or Democrat. I'm talking about all of them. They all pay attention to how many people register. So they look at the signs. And if they see people starting to register more, they all start thinking about, damn, I wonder how my constituency thinks about me. Are they tired of Me Too? That's what they start thinking. Now, Republicans are thinking that, but some Dems are also thinking the same thing too. So they kind of measure public sentiment by how many people register to vote. So that's what I'm saying. So if you are upset, they hear you if you register to vote. If you're upset and you come out to vote, they hear you if you register and come out to vote. But if you don't, they're not really even concerned about you at all because you're too dumb. You pay their salary and you too dumb to tell them what to do with it. They love people like you. I mean, why should they worry about you? You help them by not voting. I mean, they love that kind of, mark. Basically, that's what that's called. That's called a mark, in reality. All right. So let's hear some more about what they're saying about Hegseth. I mean, it's fucked up, but this is where it is. And if you don't believe in putting pressure on your government, then ain't nothing going to change. These stories, and that is really sad because it saddens me to hear this. I'm first of all, I'm fucking embarrassed, to be an American citizen, right? I've never been, all the shit we've done, I've never been more embarrassed. I've never been embarrassed. I've been upset a few times. I've thought that my government has done wrong a few times, but embarrassed to be an American, man, this is way past like the government did something wrong. Man, we elected Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. That shows you there's way too many stupid Americans for anyone to fucking be proud to be American anymore. How can you be proud of stupidity? How? That's the worst thing. I mean, make a mistake? Yeah. Have a war? Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein's best friend? No. Vote for a billionaire thinking he's going to help me out. No. That makes you pretty stupid. That makes you real goddamn stupid. And we have way too many Americans like this. And until Americans fucking show by the way they vote that they're not goddamn stupid, until they vote wisely, man, I just have to say I'm embarrassed, man. I got to see something. I got to see something better for me to really feel pride. And maybe some of that pride needed to be smacked down a little. Maybe some of that pride needed to be, taken down a notch. I mean, I felt it. No problem. I felt it. Fuck it. I admit it. I felt it. But I'm not the one doing all the stupid shit on the international stage. I'm not the one doing all that. My party, I'm not even the one that advocates for whack shit in my country. I advocate for better shit. How about everybody in the United States have universal health care? How about everybody in the United States that's a citizen have universal education, regardless of the money you make? I'm not talking about going to motherfucking wars. I didn't advocate for Obama to help with removing of Gaddafi. I didn't even advocate for George Bush to go to motherfucking Afghanistan. Or even, I'm not saying I wouldn't have dealt with that problem in some kind of way. Yes, I would have. But I didn't advocate for none of that shit. So I advocate for good things for American citizens, but we have a lot of American citizens that are too dumb to know what's in their best interest. Like what the fuck? And how can you be proud of that? Because the root of it is fucking ignorance. It's not your color. It's your dumbness. It's your ignorance. It's how stupid you are. It's how extremely ignorantly arrogant you are. Like some people are fucking arrogant about their ignorance. Sorry, I ain't you. I'm not one of you. I'm not. Fuck that. I'm one of the other Americans. I'm not a MAGA, and I'm nothing like a MAGA, and I'm not even really with some of this center Democrat shit. I'm a Democrat, but I'm not really I'm more leaning left because I live outside of the U.S. and I know that many of these other left policies work perfectly fine to right-wing governments in the U.S. in Europe, to left-wing governments in Europe, to center governments in Europe. They don't fight over universal health care in Europe, regardless if you're right-wing, left-wing, center. What the fuck? That's not even a guess. Like they're not fighting over access to education for everybody in Europe, whether you're on the right wing, left wing, or center. No, that's pretty much average. Only in the U.S. are we fucking like, we don't know if every American deserves education. You need to work first. You need to make enough money to pay for it. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's why you eat poisonous food on your shelves every day. Ignorance. That's why your policies are killing yourself faster than anyone else. You live lesser lives. You live a shorter life in the United States of America than anybody else in the West. Congratulations. Keep killing yourselves. Hoorah! All right, let's
Amy,
continue.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I think Hegseth should be a political target for Democrats because he is so incompetent. And it is putting our military at risk. It's putting our country at risk. I mean, his treatment of the military from the start has been terrible. You can talk about all the silly stuff, like the pulling down photos of diversity in the force, or the ridiculous stressing down of the top military officers last year, the admirals and generals that he has not promoted because of their color or gender. But the biggest problem with Pete Hegseth is his incompetence and his lack of integrity. The military doesn't need to be coddled, doesn't need to be treated well even. But what the military needs is a Secretary of Defense who is competent at the top, who is going to make sure that he does the things that only the Secretary of Defense can do, like partnerships and making sure we don't get into a war where we're going to get clobbered strategically. Those are the big things. And the integrity piece is so important. This is a man who has lied about the Strait of Hormuz being open. He's lied about the operation. He's encouraged the military to perform war crimes. He's covered up the casualties of this war. People just don't believe him anymore. And that's why he needs to go.
Right, and Vaughn, what we're hearing from Amy's analysis is so fundamentally different from what we're hearing from President Trump, who's continued to support Hegseth publicly, says he has faith in him. Just take a listen.
That means Hegseth must be one of his most dumbest appointees of all. If Trump is saying, I have faith in him, that means he's really a butt kisser.
The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and he's had some good victories lately, I will tell you. He's going to have a lot more. Pete Hegseth, incredible. We have just a great group of people. Pete Hegseth, who was born for this role. I mean, he's doing a great job.
Okay, but fuller context here. You have the reporting that Trump's frustration with the Iran war boiled over at last week's Camp David summit, where he demanded answers on munition shortages. Hegseth was aboard that special decoy flight out of the Middle East, though unlike Trump, he did not sneak aboard. Why this enduring loyalty to Hegseth on the part of the president?
Pete Hegseth is still, Alicia, carrying out the orders of the president himself. This is a war that the president of the United States decided to go forward with and commanded his Pentagon to move forward with these offensive strikes on February 28th. This is something that Donald Trump has suggested would be able to be negotiated, and yet every step of the way, the fault of the continuousness of the war has not been the strategy in his mind, but it is the difficulty that is the Iranians' ability to maintain its offensive posture in keeping this war going. And I think that it goes back to people like Mark Esper and James Mattis from the first Trump administration, and the commitment by the transition team this go around to install people into these cabinet positions that would be unyieldingly loyal to him and his wishes. And that's exactly what he got in November of 2024 when he selected Pete Hegseth, right? He made it through narrowly through the confirmation process despite deep reservations from people like veteran Joni Ernst. And so in so many ways, what we're watching transpire now, the president really can't lay at the feet of Pete Hegseth. And I think that is where the reporting from Priya and from our colleague Lindsay are so relevant to this moment, because it's the human impact stories that are the ones that are hardest to spin. And understanding that soldiers are not in the position to speak out, and their family members are hesitant to do so as well, knowing the potential implications of an administration that has gone after individuals that they deem leakers or individuals who they deem to be seeking to undermine the mission of the American military. We saw them pull the the national security credentials from the former Air Force secretary that served under the Biden administration for simply talking with the New York Times on the record about questions as it related to the new Air Force One. And so we have seen this Pentagon and this administration go after Alyssa Slotkin, go after Mark Kelly. And so there has been a very clear statement that has been made by Pete Hegseth on behalf of the president that they are willing to go after anybody that tries to undermine the mission of the U.S. military. And so for right now, he's a pretty good option that continues to exist despite the frustrations of the continuing war.
Tim, who is the bigger risk for Hegseth, the president growing frustrated with him or Democrats seeking to impeach him?
The president. And, look, I think there are a couple of ways to look at why there is not more buzz about moving on from Pete Hegseth around MAGA circles. It's not as if they have not been willing to push aside people in this cabinet who have not performed well. It has tended to all be women, is something that I guess would be noteworthy, whether that be Kristi Noem or Tulsi Gabbard or Pam Bondi. So the administration and Trump himself has moved on from people. So the fact that he's not, given just the plain failures that anybody who has eyes can see, leads you to wonder a couple things. I mean, maybe it's as simple as Vaughn was saying. Pete Hegseth is just carrying out Trump's orders, and for Trump to move on from Hegseth would be for Trump to look inside himself and talk about his own and reflect on his own mistakes, which is not something that Donald Trump does. So maybe it's as simple as that. I think a more ominous potential that we should at least think about is, I think the other person I would look at who's extremely incompetent, who is staying in this administration despite tons of terrible press, is Kash Patel. And maybe Donald Trump has decided he wants pliable, less than competent people in those roles.
Yeah.
Given what might happen in the coming years. I think maybe.
Yeah, it seems like these two, they are the worst of the worst and the most idiotic, either the most compromised or the most idiotic. But they're definitely both weak. Now, let me see something. Let me flip it up. I want to go over and see. There's some reporting from Katie.
Hired?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something?
Give me the DEI hires?
Yeah, well, that's what they got now. They got the DEI hires, man. That's what they want.
Right.
They said they didn't want DEI, but what they did was they said this is how we'll do it. We'll say that we're against DEI because DEI means Americans of different looks, different ethnic Americans. They didn't think that was okay to have. They thought having different ethnic Americans was a bad thing, so they removed them so that it could look a certain way.
Yep.
It looks a certain way too. Thank God it look. And look, I would argue, damn, you making white people look bad, yo. Like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that? Why?
Exactly.
Like, they basically.
Well, because of loyalty, right? They knew what they wanted in terms of loyalty.
Thank God there's not a black man that is Kash Patel. Thank God Kash Patel's not black. Thank God he's not African American. Thank God. That's all I could say. Because that would be shameful. I mean, and speaking of that, do you think Trump would even trust a black American in any one of those roles? I'm talking about FBI, head of the FBI, head of the anything. Tulsi Gabbard's job. Would he trust an African American with that? Hell no. Because he's been getting rid of them all from day one, right?
Exactly. That's a hypocrisy that they, even the black MAGAs, right, or the black conservatives, they don't even have representation in this administration. You can't name one high-profile position that is a person of color aside from Kash Patel, right? And Kash, right? It's sad. It's sad.
It's
and that's what I look at when but they still somehow want to be the pick-me's of the groups, right?
Yes.
And that's something they should look at, right?
I'm just happy because I don't want the destruction of the U.S. to be blamed on African Americans.
They'll find a way to say it anyway.
Really? They're going to find a reason to do that anyway. You're going to have to blame this shit on the rest of these people. Like, really? But in any case, just joking. But look, Kash Patel, if you are of Indian descent, he's Indian African, right? / Indian African / right? I keep thinking he's Pakistani. Excuse me. He's not. He's Indian. Is it Kenyan Indian? Or is he Ugandan?
Yeah,
Indian? One of them, right?
I think it's
Yeah, he's of that descent. Indian family via Africa, India, Africa, United States. Yeah, he's making immigrants look bad. Isn't that what it is? Yeah, he's making immigrant look bad, bro. The immigrant community, you guys should really be pissed because Kash Patel really, Americans remember shit like this. And especially the people that vote for Trump. They know who's an immigrant and who's not. And look, and Trump also, this is the irony of his administration. He's an anti-immigrant administration. And then the stooge, Kash Patel, he puts there. Who else was a stooge that fell? Wasn't it
Dan Bongino decided to his position?
Is he an immigrant background?
No, he's not.
Okay, what is he? Italian American?
He's mixed.
He's mixed. Okay, it matters in the Trump administration. So mixed with what? Let's go on with this. What's he mixed with? I'm curious. I mean, hey, they don't. This is what MAGA is all about. They don't want to hear none of this shit. They don't like it. But there was someone else. Melania is an immigrant. Think of the irony of that. Epstein. No, he wasn't an immigrant really, but his family's immigrant background, right? So let's see here. Yeah, he's got a lot of, Trump. Who else? There's more people in his cabinet, I feel, that I'm missing that got immigrant background.
I mean, I off the top of my head, I can't necessarily.
Fuck it. Well, in any case, it's really personality and character issues that he's facing. Fuck where they're from and all of that stuff,
Exactly.
They like to deal with that. And, of course, we can entertain it a little bit just to point out the hypocrisy. But I, myself, as an American whose family goes back both sides onto the colonial period, right, of the U.S., before the U.S. even existed, I don't carry those things around. I don't need to carry the fact that both sides of my family go back to the colonial period. I don't need to throw that on the table to respect other Americans or have an American debate or have a debate about the Western world or have a conversation in general with anybody. For me, that's not what matters. What matters is your character and also that you try to at least care about other people. That's what I mean by character.
Americans.
Yeah.
Especially other Americans, right?
Exactly.
Like your level of patriotism is defined by you caring for the well-being of your own fellow Americans.
Exactly.
Right? And I think this Trump administration has caused that division by identifying as an immigrant and going and using the litmus test of how far back you've gone and what makes you American, right? This administration has done just that, where, as imperfect as Obama
Tariq Nasheed has also. Punk ass.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a part of that conservative talk, right? Yeah. That conservative movement, right?
It's ignorant. It's ignorant. Movement. It's not about character. It's about other shit that people don't control. That's so pathetic, man.
Yeah.
It's so pathetic.
Identity politics, right? What you identify as and what their litmus test. If you don't fit into their definition of what American is, you're considered a non-American, and then you're,
and they always lose. They always lose. They always come out worse with that, taking.
Of course.
Yeah, it's so bad, bro.
Right, because it's non-inclusive. It's a non-inclusive group, and if you don't fit their rhetoric, and if you don't go by their rhetoric, then they get to use that against you. That's a part. That's the gambit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a conservative? Then you must be an immigrant-loving individual who's non-American first.
I mean,
it's that type of rhetoric, that decisive.
And when it comes to policy, it's all clickbait. It's all copy paste policy. They don't know policy at all. They got their policy from what some troll on the internet told them and shit. It's like, okay, remember when Obama did Obama? What about Obamacare? It's like, damn. Okay, that's deep. Anyway, let's move over to some things that might be a little more exciting to people. Of course, we didn't deal with Tupac, and we didn't deal with what's the guy's name from the Crips that allegedly shot Tupac or whatever, or his crew. KVD. We didn't do that, but we can get a little, I don't know, sexy, I guess you could call it, with our media. And excuse me, Katie Faye, and deal with some Epstein issues, right? And there is new things coming out in terms of Katie. And her Epstein, look, she took the U.S. government to court. She took the U.S. government to court. And more files are coming out. Shit people didn't know because of this lady. And, I got to give her credit. She really, not that I would doubt her, but when you see these motherfuckers get away with so much hiding of these Epstein files, a law was passed. First, there was a discharge petition. People had to wait months to get enough people to sign it because Republicans didn't want to help more than one Republican. All the rest of them was like, no, we don't want to vote on the floor about the Epstein files being released. No. But then when they found out it was going to happen anyway, then they all said, yeah, once it got on the floor, fine. So then the president had to sign it because he didn't want to look like a hypocrite saying he's going to veto that bill. But it was veto proof. So that meant even if he didn't sign it, it would get turned into law because it was filibuster proof, right? It had enough members on both sides to where it becomes law anyway. So that goes to show you midterms. If you elect people that actually are about doing good things, the president can't stop it any fucking way. And let me tell you, these people can also impeach Supreme Court justices if you think there's too much corruption or too much, how can I say this, violating the Constitution existing in the Supreme Court rulings. So this midterm is what it is about. But even when they signed the law into power, even when Trump said, okay, release the Epstein files, the executive branch said, we don't have to do it. But then they could have impeached him. But right now, we don't have enough congressional members or senators that think Trump is worth impeaching. They could remove him physically from the office. Yes, they can. So everything you're seeing right now is really up to them. It's really because they allow it. If you're in the military and you're like, what the fuck is going on with my country? So Congress and the Senate allow it. Don't blame it on Trump alone anymore because they know he's a fucking lunatic. You know what I'm saying? What's Congress' excuse? You a bunch of lunatics too? What's the Senate's excuse? You a bunch of lunatics too? Yeah. A lot of them are a bunch of lunatics. So what happened? Because Congress ain't doing its job, people need to come out to the midterms and vote. That's how it works in the United States. Vote for a congressional member, vote for a senator. Primaries are happening now, and then the midterms, the real elections, will happen in November for those seats. The seats with all the power in the United States. The real power is the midterms. So now that we said that, Trump, he didn't do what the law said. They didn't release it. No one's going to do anything about it. Congress hasn't impeached him because he hasn't followed the law. The Senate hasn't impeached him because he hasn't followed the law. And so what do we have? We got somebody like Katie, right? Fang doing it by default, filing, taking them to court, filing cases where they have to divulge information, where as if no one took them to court over the matter. Yes. She took them there over the Epstein files now being released. It's her. She did it. This lady right here. It's not some senator or congressional member that said, fucking impeach this lunatic. She is getting in Todd Blanche's ass. Here's how. Big up to Katie Fang also. Here's how.
5:30 Eastern. For those of you that are tuning in live, thank you. It's the best part of my week is being able to hang out with all of you live. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing this. We are on a push.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And if you don't know Katie Fang's website, here, check this out. Here it is right here. It's really easy to see. There it is, just on YouTube. I'm sorry, Katie Fang. Just go down there and subscribe. Click like. Did I not click like on the video? Boom. There you have it. And if you like what you're hearing here, click the like button. That is how it works. It literally works that way. If you want to help this stream get out to more Americans, more people in the West, more people in the world, click the like button. That means somebody that's interested in the same things you watch on YouTube, they will also get recommended this video. So do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe. Let's do this. Come on.
To hit 1 million subscribers for the Katie Fang News Channel in the next few months. For those of you that think that's not possible, Let me tell you something. You don't know me well enough. Thrilled that
help me get 12,000. Help me get 13,000. Help me get 20,000 before the midterm elections. Can y'all help us get 20,000 before the midterms? We would appreciate that. All right, let's go.
you're joining me right now. It's always a privilege. What do I always say? Thank you. Thank you for the privilege of your time. I know you're incredibly busy, but what we love to do here at Sidebar is hang out, be in community, and also go a little bit deeper beyond just the headlines so you have more information than just what's out there. Hi, everybody. No, I am already married, but if I wasn't, there you go. I'd say yes. All righty. So let's start immediately with this huge news out of
Are you married, Katie Faye? Are you married? Damn,
Florida.
that's deep.
Yes, folks, I always like to say Florida is the epicenter of all things fucked up. I am not wrong. It is some outrageous allegations that have been raised against the Palm Beach County Clerk of the Courts. His name is Michael Allen Caruso. He has now been arrested today, August 18th, 2026, on multiple felony counts, 5 to be specific. Sydney, let's pull up his arrest warrant. Folks, you were looking at the warrant for the arrest of Michael Allen Caruso, not a drag queen, not a Democrat. He is a diehard Republican. He has been arrested for 5 major felonies. Folks, you can see them listed 1 through 5 on that arrest warrant. Count 1, kidnapping. That is a life felony in Florida. Count 2, lewd or lascivious molestation. This is all involving a child under the age of 12 people. That is also a life felony. Count 3, lewd or lascivious exhibition. That's a second-degree felony based upon the age of the victim. Count 4, luring or enticing a child. Also a felony, third-degree felony. And the count 5, child abuse causing mental injury. That is also a third-degree felony. Now,
So this is about kids and trafficking.
Guy, Michael Allen Caruso, he is no stranger to politics in Florida. He previously served, he's 67 years old, by the way. He previously served as a state representative back in 2018 and established and cemented a reputation as being one of Ron DeSantis' strongest allies while in the Florida state legislature. As the Palm Beach County clerk of the circuit court in
Damn, you mean Ron DeSantis, Mr. We're against trafficking. Buddy was a trafficker? I mean, this is crazy, man. But this is the world we live in. This is the Epstein class. This is what they like. There's just birds of a feather flock together. That's all I'm going to say.
He's currently earning $212,385 a year as the clerk. This was a reward given to him by Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida for rewarding him for his loyalty. Caruso was currently in the process of running for re-election as an unopposed Republican. He was going to be up against a Democrat named Yvette.
Talk about a primary elections in Florida.
Drucker, former Boca Raton deputy mayor in the upcoming general on November 3rd, 2026. Timing is interesting, right? Because today is Florida primaries, by the way. Today, August 18th, 2026, major races, including the gubernatorial race where my good friend David Jolly is vying to be the Democratic nominee. Michael Allen Caruso is the father of 7, currently married to a woman by the name of Tracy Caruso, the editor for conservative media outlet Florida Jolt. Again, not a Democrat, folks, and not a drag queen. And Tracy Caruso, president of Delray Beach Executive Suites, an office space company she co-owns with Michael Caruso. Both Tracy Caruso and Michael Caruso have been repeat appointees by Ron DeSantis to different positions. They have, again, served time and time again, courtesy of Ron DeSantis. When he was a representative in April of 2025, Caruso voted for legislation to allow the death penalty in cases of human trafficking of children under 12 for sexual exploitation. Not that I have a problem with stiff punishment. Let me be clear here. That measure became law last July. 2 years earlier in 2023, Caruso voted for a law authorizing the execution of child rapists if 2/3 of a jury deem it to be appropriate. He served as the chair of the House Economic Infrastructure Committee and the vice chair of the Higher Education Budget Subcommittee when he was serving in the Florida legislature. Now, the allegations against him are particularly disturbing. I'm going to warn everybody. I'm going to intentionally avoid at all possible ways, any ways of identifying who the alleged victim is in this case. I will say, though, that it has been reported widely that the victim in this case is his grandson. This man's grandson is who this is. Okay.
What? This man assaulted his grandson in this case? Okay.
Is in this case. I will say, though, that it has been reported widely that the victim in this case is his grandson. This man's grandson is who this is. Okay. But I am going to try to avoid as much as possible any more identifiers than I can. Victim less than 12 years of age is where we get the specific charges, as in the specific kinds of felonies. It is also charges that are based upon the conduct that was perpetrated by Michael Caruso against this young child, Any more identifiers than I can. Victim less than 12 years of age is where we get the specific charges, as in the specific kinds of felonies. It is also charges that are based upon the conduct that was perpetrated by Michael Caruso against this young child, It includes allegations of sexual abuse, lewd and lascivious molestation of this child on a family cruise on Thanksgiving Day 2024, occasions where the allegations are, according to the arrest affidavit that has been released by Ron DeSantis' office when he issued an executive order today removing Caruso from his job as the clerk of the circuit court and comptroller. Allegations include Caruso.
Thanksgiving Day. If this happened on Thanksgiving Day, this is crazy. Oh my God.
So intentionally separating the child from the rest of the family in order to perpetrate and commit this abuse. Now, this is what I want to focus on. Caruso was confronted by a family member in December of 2025 regarding the disclosures that were made by the victim. The victim disclosed to family members what had happened to him. Caruso admitted that he showered with all of his own children, but denied showering with the victim. Caruso then said and acknowledged that his own daughter had previously accused him of sexually inappropriate behavior, including sexual battery. Now, Beverly Caruso, his ex-wife, his first wife, and the mother of their 7 children, had previously alleged that he had sexually assaulted a child, one of their children, in their divorce case that was filed in Palm Beach County back in 2012. Caruso had denied those allegations, and nothing came of that. Apparently, the Delray Beach police investigated allegations of physical abuse as well, and the police did nothing with those allegations in the end. Furthermore, in that divorce filed in 2012, Beverly Caruso alleged that Michael.
Wow. So initially the police did nothing. Wow, that is crazy.
Beach police investigated allegations of physical abuse as well, and the police did nothing with those allegations in the end. Furthermore, in that divorce filed in 2012, Caruso.
But you hear a lot about that. That is not untypical. Sadly enough, these kind of things, for some reason, when it comes to, I don't know what it is. Like, are they waiting for the police for it to have a certain narrative before they believe it or something? Like, I don't.
Beverly Caruso
It's sad.
So
It's
alleged
sad.
that Michael Caruso had severe emotional problems, which consist of anger, rage, and a history of physical and emotional abuse of one or more of the children. I mean, Ron DeSantis appointing this guy to all of these, great cushy jobs and all of these things with all of these allegations about Caruso. Now, here's where I call this consciousness of guilt, people. Listen to the following. While being confronted by a family member about these allegations, Caruso stated, quote, "If you tell anyone, I will get arrested. I will just go away. You tell anyone, I'm going to jail." He offered to leave Orange County, Florida, and said that this person didn't have to tell anyone. Does that sound like the statements made by somebody who is innocent of the allegations and the charges here? He offered to leave Orange County to never come back if somebody promised not to actually disclose it to law enforcement and to authorities. Then the family members confronted his current wife, Tracy Caruso. She says her husband could be arrested and that the matter was, in her words, quote, "a life in jail kind of thing," end quote. I guess she was read up on the felony statutes in Florida. And then when he was, again, later confronted during a controlled call, meaning law enforcement was secretly recording the call with the family member, Caruso said these allegations were impossible because sexual deviation can only be directed towards one sex rather than two. And because he's attracted to women, there's no way that he could be a sexual offender. He then said, if you report this to the authorities, there won't be any of me left. I can tell you that. Again, does that sound like somebody who is innocent of the charges? Now, of course, he has denied any of the charges that have been raised.
That almost sounds verbatim like Brother Polite. The excuses. I don't know if anybody followed Brother Polite, quote unquote. I shouldn't even say that name because then you might go and watch his videos. But goddamn, I mean, in other words, Brother Polite is a hood info scammer, hood black scamming, kind of black theology scammer, though. Not like historical history, actual scholarship that you're picking up or something like that. He's into some hocus pocus, magical,
super intellectual,
super what? How do you describe it, bro?
He's a pseudo intellectual, right?
Pseudo intellectual, yeah, but that's not harsh enough.
I mean,
he's worse, bro, than a pseudo intellectual. This motherfucker's bad. But he got caught in Florida. He's in jail right now in Florida too himself. He was on YouTube.
And he was pretty big on YouTube for sure.
He was big on YouTube. He was scamming people for allegedly. I don't want to say that, but what is said is that he scammed people out of millions of dollars selling them self-help blackness, quote unquote, things, right? Yep. And he was scamming them, and he had people working for him, and he was also into let's just say his Florida case is based on him molesting a young girl. He's in jail for that, for assaulting a minor, and and so he went to jail for that, and he's still in prison. You don't know how well he's doing. He may not get out, but even before that, he had scammed allegedly loads of people and stole their money. We talking about black people. He stole black people's money. People that he was saying, I want to help you. You're black, man. You God. You going to do this, man. Just send me your money. He was scamming people allegedly out of 10, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. He had people sending him money from all over on the net claiming that he was going to invest their money in real estate. That guy. The excuses he made sound almost verbatim like these excuses. I'm going to be ruined if you report it to the police. Yes, he said those words. He's out there. He's on tape. Look, they have him documented saying these kind of things. Listen to this.
Members confronted his current wife, Tracy Caruso. She says her husband could be arrested and that the matter was, in her words, quote, "a life in jail kind of thing," end quote. I guess she was read up on the felony statutes in Florida. Ron DeSantis appointing this guy to all of these, great cushy jobs and all of these things with all of these allegations about Caruso. Now, here's where I call this consciousness of guilt, people. Listen to the following.
It's interesting she used the word consciousness, too, because Brother Polite was a member of the conscious community, quote unquote. So, all right, but let's go on. Let's continue.
While being confronted by a family member about these allegations, Caruso stated, quote, "If you tell anyone, I will get arrested. I will just go away. You tell anyone, I'm going to jail." He offered to leave Orange County, Florida, and said that this person didn't have to tell anyone. Does that sound like the statements made by somebody who is innocent of the allegations and the charges here? He offered to leave Orange County to never come back if somebody promised not to actually disclose it to law enforcement and to authorities. Then the family members confronted his current wife, Tracy Caruso. She says her husband could be arrested and that the matter was, in her words, quote, "a life in jail kind of thing," end quote. I guess she was read up on the felony statutes in Florida. And then when he was, again, later confronted during a controlled call, meaning law enforcement was secretly recording the call with the family member, Caruso said, "These allegations were impossible because sexual deviation can only be directed towards one sex rather than two. And because he's attracted to women, there's no way that he could be a sexual offender." He then said, "If you report this to the authorities, there won't be any of me left. I can tell you that." Again, does that sound like somebody who is innocent of the charges? Now, of course, he has denied any of the charges that have been raised against him. But this is important, folks, for the following reason, right? One, the Republican Party needs to actually mind the shit that's happening in its own backyard. Okay? The Republican Party wants to weaponize, wants to accuse.
They worried about whatever happened to the people, the illegals jumping the fence and doing this to our kids. They're doing it to their own kids, and they're not even worried about it. It's not a priority to them.
Democrats wants to accuse others of being either too woke or having, some type of criminal thing. And listen, let me be very clear, okay, and blunt. Did Democrats commit crimes? Of course. Have other Democrats been accused of stuff like this? Yes. But in my mind, if you are Ron DeSantis, and these allegations go back as far as 2001 of physical abuse and other allegations involving children, involving this man, this guy has no business serving in the Florida legislature, let alone keep on being rewarded for his loyalty with these types of positions. And yet, lo and behold, here we go. This is where we find ourselves in Florida, courtesy of Republicans that are controlling the House, the Senate, and the gubernatorial mansion. Right? That's what happens when we go there. That's what we find out. There's been restraining orders filed. I mean, folks, it's definitely a lot of stuff here. Now, you want to know something kind of interesting, too? Apparently, Caruso was the lone Republican vote in support of an incredibly draconian immigration law that DeSantis wanted to pass in Florida, despite all the other Republicans in Florida being against it. This guy Caruso stood tall next to his ally and buddy, Ron DeSantis, and ended up being the lone vote in support of Ron DeSantis. I mean, it's the whole, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
So they had a very close relationship. This dude was the lone vote for Ron DeSantis. This guy was, they're saying that Ron DeSantis knew about these allegations of this guy, regarding this guy, and he just, didn't distance himself or refused to.
Steroids here. So he's now been arrested. And if you look at the second page of his arrest affidavit, Sydney, if we can bring it up, you see the charges at the top again, 1 through 5. And then at the bottom, it says very clearly, 0 bail, no bond on all counts. That means that Caruso has no opportunity to post a bond to be able to get out of jail. And I effing agree. Somebody like that has no business being out of jail. But of course, while all of this is going on with a person who serves in a public official capacity in Palm Beach, What else is happening with Republicans in Florida? Check out this headline. International underwear model who stormed the Capitol is now running for Congress. Thank you to Mother Jones, a fantastic publication here. A guy named John Strand. He was a January 6th insurrectionist who went to jury trial, was found guilty by a jury of his peers, and got sentenced to 32 months in federal prison. Well, guess what? He got pardoned in January of 2025, along with another 1,500 freaking people convicted of the January 6th insurrection. So now he's running for Congress in Florida. But let's talk about who else is running in this race. It's not just this January 6th insurrectionist guy who happens to be a former international underwear model. I really wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, international underwear model running for what? Congress? I mean, this is crazy. This is what's going on. I mean, you know, when you don't know who any of these people are, you automatically assume like, person running for Senate, they must be somebody, right? Wrong. Like, and this is why more young people need to run for these offices and these seats. These folks, look, first of all, you don't really need much qualification. If you know what the job is about, great. But that doesn't mean a lot of these people winning really do. It doesn't. So that's the beautiful thing about democracy. Even though some other people might have an advantage in terms of the amount of money they raise or who they're connected with, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't win either, right? Or it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to run or develop it. Listen, grassroots has shown people, look at what DSA is doing. They're doing some serious grassroots and they're having some wins with it. They're changing the electorate with just by themselves, just by being a little different from the status quo. You see, it's moving the status quo a little bit more to the left. It's also educating the left. It's educating the Democratic Party. It's raising the awareness under the Democratic Party. It's making sure that we don't just have one kind of voice that is echo chambered, right? But we're having a diversity of voices within that party where we lift each other up, where the cream rises to the top, and we're not just settling for what they always said could be, that kind of thing. So it's interesting following up on this, but let's hear a little more. This is some wild shit right here. This is wild.
10 candidates are running to fill Byron Donalds. Remember him, the congressman who's running to be the Republican nominee for governor in Florida? Well, 10 people are running in primarying in that seat. It's this John Strand guy. There's another guy named Chris Collins. You guys remember him? He was a congressman from the state of New York. Stay where you are. Don't come to Florida, people. Well, I mean, unless you're good. Chris Collins resigned from Congress in 2019, pleading guilty to insider trading and lying to the FBI. He was serving a 20-month prison sentence himself when Trump pardoned him at the end of Trump term 1.0. Sounds like they really back the blue and they really are the party of law and order, hun. Who else is running for this seat? Byron Donalds' old seat. You guys remember a guy by the name of Madison Cawthorn? Republican congressman from North Carolina who lost his 2022 primary after all of these allegations of sexual harassment remember, he was carrying a gun through TSA twice. And then he said that he saw his House colleagues doing a key bump of coke right in front of him. That Madison Cawthorn in the wheelchair, that guy? He's also running for that seat. There's another woman who lost in Illinois, moved to Florida.
Damn! So that means half of the fucking people we were looking at their names earlier, these people are criminals or have extremely poor morals and ethics.
Florida named Catalina Loft. She's now running in Florida's 19th, and it just goes on and on. But people, I'm bringing this to you because I want you to know this is the quality of the Republicans that are in the state of Florida. And everybody always wants to count Florida out. Everybody wants to say, Florida's too red, you can't do it. I'm telling you right now, this is the quality of the people that are running in Florida. And
that's true. And that's very, very sad that it's that low. But it goes to show you that actually people rate politicians too highly. We assume that because they're running for office, that they actually know a lot or can do a lot. And actually, a lot of these people, sadly enough, they just want a check. They want the benefits. The American people pay these people very, very well. In fact, if you were to become a senator, if you were to become a governor, if you were to become a congressperson, you don't even need Medicaid or Medicare because you making so much money because the American people pay you so well that you can afford all private health care, right? And these people get better health care than the fucking people that are voting for the ass. I mean, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. And on top of that, look at their associations. So my advice is young people, yo, the world is yours. The world is yours. You know what I'm saying? Whose world is this? It's the young people's world. Like, no matter how young you are, seize the moment. Understand it's your country. You will have to pay the bills for an entire lifetime for the mistakes of this generation. You may as well claim the prize too. You may as well take the power. Like, seriously, get out there and vote. Every time young people get out and vote and run for office too. Every time you do this, the country gets better. Things change. Whenever young people step back from politics and get disenchanted and start to feel like, oh, well, it won't matter, things get worse. That's how it literally works. But listen, folks, it's been 3 hours now on the second stream, so I got to cut it a little bit. But I will be back at another time. I have 2 more streams coming up on this date, the 19th. I've been streaming since the 18th, so gotta have to end it for now. But it's been good to see folks. Good participation. Excellent. I appreciate everybody that came out, and it was some good commentary. We had some serious fucking commentary today. Yo, Mike, you there? Yeah,
I'm here.
I gotta clap you on the back too. Say good, excellent commentary, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate you always.
Yeah, man. No doubt. But listen, how would you sum up today, this electorate, the elections that happened? We didn't really get to see. Should we take a look at that and see if there's any results about? Let me see what if there's any results about
let's see how it closes out.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Okay, this is Alaska. Whoa, goddamn, we got some shit going on here, bro. We got damn, I didn't realize that. Okay, it worked that fast. Let's look at this. This is the governor race. Okay, this is the primary.
It looks like Moskowitz is gonna get his Democratic primary in Florida, so he just has to hold that off to stay as the incumbent.
Okay, so you're talking about Florida. Okay, so that's Moskowitz now. But what about now? We're looking at Alaska, and these are the results here for the governor open primary. It looks like it's still close. It's not over yet for the governorship. 66% of the votes are in. Let me blow this up a little bit so people can see the numbers a little better, right?
Yeah. And also Dixon looks like she's got it over the incumbent Vindman.
Yeah, Dixon's already been announced though. That's pretty much done. The Florida stuff is pretty much over now, right? I think they've already counted the rest of the votes. It was a wrap. But now we're dealing with Alaska. And Alaska, this is what's going on. We couldn't see this earlier, right? So it says 66% of the votes are in. This is the primary, Democratic primary, right? So you have, or no, they don't have I forgot to tell y'all. Listen, folks, they don't have a Democratic primary in Alaska. It's just a primary, right? It's an open primary. So,
correct. It's a jungle primary. Top 2 win. It could be from the same party.
Well, damn. That's crazy. I didn't know that. And these are the results that they have in so far. So there's 44% of the vote left to be counted. Still not in. It's probably, let me see. So they voted. They just have to count the votes. And this is what it looks like. So right now they got Tompkins on top and Begich on top. Okay. Then they have after so far as Wilson and Bronson. So, yeah, Taylor, 44%. Okay, so maybe.
Yeah, that's for governor. And then they got to try to challenge Murkowski for the Senate.
Okay, and down here, right. Now, here is Potola and Sullivan. This is one Senate seat right here in Alaska. This is 66% of the vote is in. So this is looking more tight in terms of Dem and Republican. It doesn't look like anybody else got a chance in this one. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the numbers. Come on, 2,000. Sullivan ain't gonna. Come on, you see that? So hold on. It's two Sullivans, by the way. Which Sullivan is this? I remember them talking about that.
The same name.
Yeah,
they're both named Dan Sullivan.
And I heard there was a controversy about it, but the law allows it to be this way. So which fucking Sullivan is it? Is it the one that they didn't want on the ballot that's winning, or is it the one that was already there? Well, maybe it's because they thought it would take votes away from Peltola, so they didn't like it. But in any case, it's still tight between the Dem, Peltola, and whichever Sullivan it is, right? And then let's see.
I think one of the Republican Dan Sullivans is hardline, kind of fascist, and the other one's kind of moderate and reasonable.
Okay, I hope the fascist isn't winning. Isn't that big? But all right. But then this is the U.S.
Yeah, that'll
House.
Be curious to see.
Yeah, we're gonna find out in a second. I'm gonna ask. Now look at this. This is the House. So the House is looking like 66%. 47. Okay, so there's a big spread there. There's a big margin that the Bigish has, right, over Hill. But you never know. You never know. There's 44% of the vote left to be counted. So we don't know on that one. All right, that's interesting. Now let me see here. Let's go. This is the governor's race. Now let me flip over to let me see. Let's go backwards.
It's a small state, but the problem is that even some of these small states like Alaska and South Carolina have been tipping points in the electoral college.
Okay. And you know what? How do I? This is NPR, right? Let me see. How do I go to this? Oh no. Let me go back. Sorry. How do I go to the other? Right. Here we go. And what? Let me see. Now what? The other one is Wyoming, right? Let's go to Wyoming. Where is that at? Right here. I want to see what it says here. So this is Wyoming. This is also today. So it says, this is the governor, right? Let me close that down. This is the governor. So Wyoming, the governor race looks like there can only be a Republican, right? If that matters.
Yeah. For
the governorship. The Senate, it looks like there can only be no, wait a second. Senate?
Yeah, ever since Liz Cheney, they've gone kind of hard right.
Oh, no, it could be different. It could be different. My fault. Let's see here. Okay, Republican primary for the governor. It's only going to be Republican for that. For the governor, it's only going to be Republican, right? Uncontested, or it could be Kastner. Kastner is uncontested, so they don't even have to. They don't tabulate votes, so it doesn't even matter. There's nobody running against Kastner for this seat for the governor, so it could still be a Dem.
Yeah, Democrats don't even try in Wyoming.
They don't even try, right? Okay, now this is the Senate. So the Senate, okay, this layout looks a little different. The Senate is 64.9. Okay. Oh, this is 90% of the results are in on this one. So Hegman is definitely the primary winner for the Republicans. Byrd is the primary winner for the Democrats. That's how it's looking. Wow. So I wonder what the population is like there. Who votes for what, right? I mean, how big, how many people? What does 79% represent?
It's tiny. It's only like 500,000 people.
Okay, and is it evenly split, or is it mostly Republicans in the state, or what?
Oh no, it's like 75-80% Republicans. So
okay, so yeah,
even if the problem is they get 2 senators, which gives them a giant unfair advantage. Even if California had about 40 senators, Wyoming would still have an unfair advantage.
Yeah. Well, you get for what you vote for. You want another Trump?
Yes,
keep heading in that direction, baby. You think you can survive
it? What?
Yeah. You want Putin in your backyard? Go ahead. You want to be part of Russia? Keep doing what you're doing. And it could be happening faster than you think.
Scaled back to just 1 senator.
Yeah, small populations, more. And think about this in your democracy. This is what we were talking about earlier.
Them in Rhode Island.
Yeah. Yeah, because how the hell did this small population get too fucking, more representation than a larger state with way more people? Would you say the overall population of Wyoming is?
It's like 500,000.
Anyway, yeah, this is some bullshit. All right, so let's see here. Now let's see. There's something else, Senate. Okay, did we do everything?
Where California is like 40 million or something now, so it would have to be, they would have to have about one senator, and California would have to have about 75 to be fair.
Okay. All right. Well, this cycle. What do you think? What do you think about this, Mike? You want to say one more thing, Eric? You want to say something about this primary today? I mean, and just overall, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. What are the consequences? What are the consequences?
It looks like some of the incumbents. It looks like some of the incumbents are doing better than they had, expected, and that used to be the case in the past, that they were just very hard to get rid of, and oftentimes Democrats, didn't even have primaries because they would just go with the incumbent, and they would save a lot of money that way also. So this is interesting that in some cases the incumbents are doing well, but you have like Corey Mills, the Republican incumbent in Florida, that looks like he's going to be gone because he's got a lot of baggage. So the ones that do have some baggage, it does look like they're getting purged.
Okay, that's a good look. That's interesting. What you think about that?
Well,
Eric?
they are, right?
Yeah.
I know, and I think
Michael.
that's
Sorry, Michael.
No, that's perfect. That's perfectly said. I do think that I'm more interested in looking at one of the other indicators like we spoke about before, the poly markets of the world, right? And maybe next time when we circle back to these primaries, we'll coincide them with the poly market odds and the Kalshi odds, the betting odds, to see how they align, right?
Right.
To see if going forward we can, I think it's just a good proper dichotomy to look up juxtaposition when it comes to the betting market. I'm very interested in that part of it.
And people seem to be very engaged. I've seen a lot of different comments about how folks are watching these midterms like they never did before. A lot of folks weren't even aware of how a lot of this stuff happened. So they would, go, geez, how do we get them? How do we get them? Well, this is how you got them, because they won a primary.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how you get them. Yeah. And if you don't pay attention to the primaries, right, to the primaries and the midterms, what are you complaining about?
And even after the primaries, I'm interested in seeing the campaign that they're going to run against their Republican or Democrat counterpart, right? Are they going to continue this fake voter, fake voting as if, these people did not get elected, right? Especially for the progressive Dems and the DSA members. I also want to see how the parties back and align even with their party differences, especially on the Democratic side, right? I want to see how they back some of these DSA members and DSA aligned members, right? The Abdul Saids of the world, right? I want to see how they back them up, right? And what comprehensive campaign are they going to put alongside these progressive Dems that they have been putting major money behind their counterparts in these midterm elections, right? In these primaries, right? So I think I think that's also what I'm looking forward to, because now that the primaries, now that the primaries are done and we get to the general elections and these midterms, I want to see what type of campaign they're running, right? I want to see how does that translate to the party supporting and overcoming this this split, right? This indecisiveness, this that we have with them not wanting to promote, these progressive Dems and the DSA aligned Dems.
They're definitely going to have to work out some differences and do it soon before they really start campaigning for these midterms.
And that's kind of where my mind is going right now. I want to be able to see what that progression looks like, and I want to see how they overcome the differences, right? Because that's what's going to be needed in order for them to win against their Republican counterpart, right?
Yeah, that was a picture of Daria Liza Avila Chevalier. She's running for a big district in New York City. She would have been considered a massive long shot just like a year ago, and now she's the Democratic primary winner, and she's going to be trying to win for a pretty giant population in her part of New York City.
And ideally, she will win. Ideally, she will win. She will win. Ideally, she will win. Especially in New York,
okay.
She will.
Okay.
And I think seeing how this Democratic Party pretty much allows for them to run, and if they are going to allow them to properly run a comprehensive campaign, it's going to take the Democratic Party as a whole. It's going to take them to come together to run a comprehensive campaign that's going to trickle down to the other races, right? The country's going to look towards that, right? They're going to see, are they running aligned? Are they cohesive, right? Is that messaging cohesive? Is it the same throughout any of the other states, right? We have a Tellerico as well in Texas, right? So there's a lot of progressive Dems that we should be seeing how that campaign looks like going forward, right? And if the Democratic Party is going to pull it together and not pull this division nonsense for the betterment of the Democratic Party as a whole, and hopefully that will force the progression of the Democratic Party in the proper way, right?
Right.
Within, right?
Hopefully,
by having these progressive Dems and these DSA aligned Dems,
if they're open for
hopefully leading the way from within.
If the Dems are open for how can I say this? If they're open for a conversation about democracy and about the country, if they're open for it, I mean, how do you win when you don't want to hear voices? Like, how's that a winning strategy? Like, so I really hope that my
I bet
party,
that guy in the parachute's going to vote for universal health care.
Now that all his bones are broken and he got a bill and Trump he can't this motherfucker. There you go. And a whole lot of people, I just put this up because this is literally a symbol for the country right now. This is like, this shit is going down fast. It's going down fast in a crash landing. Now, it could explode upon a landing, but right now it's just you're going to end up with your arm and legs broken and battered and shit a little bit, and then you could still get out there and vote.
They said the flag caught on the tree.
Yeah. Oops. Did I do that? Yeah, you did, motherfucker. That's another good symbol for. That's a good phrase for what happened. What happened to the U.S.? Flag got caught on the tree, man. That's gonna be the most famous saying. How did the U.S. get Trump? Flag got caught on the tree. Why did the U.S. That's gonna be the answer for everything. Why did the U.S. put tariffs on its allies? I tell you how. Flag got caught on a tree. That's fucking how. Why is Ghislaine Maxwell, why is she getting a pardon? Flag got caught on a tree. Yeah, the flag. That's right. And that's what you get for using this flag in such a superficial fucking manner. You know what I mean? Like, god damn. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. All you only flag wavers, all you know how to do is wave the flag, nothing else. Don't know your civics, don't know anything about the Constitution. Got the nerve to want to have people out here talking about, we don't need the 18th Amendment. It's like they want to abolish women's rights, all kinds of shit. Abolish women's voting rights. I mean, this is a travesty. And this is what, this is what it looks like. Actually, a real person got hurt in that video. I was about to say this is what it looks like, the funny version, the comical version, but this ain't even fake. That's real. That's a real person.
What happened at the fair today, honey?
A real person planned for this. A real person was like, let me see it. Do I have my goggles? Do I have my parachute? Do I have my flag? Do I have my boots on? Did I tighten up my belt? Well, here's one for country and here's one, God bless Trump. Jumped out of a fucking airplane and bow. There it is. That took a lot of planning. So plan carefully. Whatever you did here, just make sure you do a little more next time because it ain't turned out too well. But in any case, yeah, that's it for today, y'all. I got to be out. We will be back. I will put up the next streams. I'm off. So I'm going to be, of course, I'm doing a lot of crazy stuff today outside, but I will be doing some off time streams. So I'll put the schedule up in a minute, but I appreciate everybody for coming out. Yo, Mike, appreciate you again. Eric, thank you again. Yeah, indeed. And I appreciate everyone else. Do me a favor. Click the like button if you haven't clicked the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That's how more people are going to find out. I'm trying to get to 20,000.
Yeah, thanks, Master B.
Oh, you're welcome, Eric. You're welcome, no doubt. And I'm trying to get to 20,000 by the midterms. I got 11,500, something like that, subscribers. Help me get to 20,000 by November 7th. That would be, yeah. I hope it's doable. But let's see how that goes. But in any case,
no, and I do think that the early, like this time we did have a good amount of individuals, attend this live, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was able to catch it. Things went smoothly today. So, yeah, I'm glad. But we'll be back. We'll keep doing it, and so we'll see if we can keep improving it. And with your help, we will. So I appreciate everybody. All right. Well, we see you guys in a little bit. Peace. Look out for the next.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah. We'll be back.
Good night, Michael.
We'll be back with the streaming information ASAP. All right. Appreciate everybody. Yo, release the Epstein files. Fuck Donald Trump. Yo, let's get our country back. Appreciate everybody. See you. Let's go.
Because the others, they ain't got what's necessary. The necessary ingredients.
What we do.
Check it.
We got what you need.
You want it. We know what you want. We got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. Orientation in this place we call Earth. Love from conception, from your mom, your birth. Pops planted the seed in the turf. From there, you must find out what life is worth. Grew up learning your do's and don'ts before working on your motor skills, working on your coordination, right? And orientation to what you like. The brand new thing, so gentle the soul we're capturing. In this distance, the alphabets the kids sing. They celebrate when it's time to go outside. As you get older, you learn to let all the troubles in your life just glide away. Stay focused, keep it smooth, keep you cool. Things in life can make it get rude. If you let it, don't let it. 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 If you let it, let it. Let it what? If you let it, don't let it. Let it. If you let it, what? Don't let it. If you let it, don't let it. Let it. Don't let it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We embark on this journey through your soul. We wanna have a good time. We embark on this journey through your soul. We wanna have a good time. We do something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I. On a mission to salvation, our spirit be our transportation. We think you'll do a little loving that is true. For real, we bring something that you know you can't deny. We're just slipping in and out on a journey, you and I. Bring it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you want, you can have it. We got what you need, you want it. We know what you want, we got it. We know what you feel, you want it. We got what you
from our harshest past, embedded in our society's identity. But then again, can you tell me that's free? They explain to you what your mind should perceive, suggest things they want you to believe, like your skin color dictates your race. They're calling you an idiot to your face, like life is much more simple than that. We're all slaves and the cards are stacked, while we fight over problems we can fix. Industrialists turn our kids to addicts. The television does a job, introduce you. The radio's right there to seduce you, keep you locked on the wrong damn track. Cigarettes is just legalized crack. They want you to catch a damn heart attack. They want you to catch a damn heart attack. What? Stop believing in the flag, it's a trap. Cause men rule this world, that's a fact. They don't know, they don't know, but I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie, but I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know, they don't know, that I'm gonna hit them with this shit. They don't lie, they don't lie, that you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. That you're gonna free your mind tonight, 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 tonight. If you see a man that needs help, then help a brother. If you see a sister on her own, still love her. Cause life is about how you choose to see it. But you gotta teach people how to learn to see it. The planet's been through suffering many times. We propagate many wars many times. The people need to wake up and stop accepting deceit from their own government's deception. You can't blame the people for needing protection from the government's bad reputation. We need to sing a song called Free the Nation, cause we done had a whole lot of separation. Racism, classism, nationalism, based on keeping people out on the plantation. That's the plan, no doubt, cause rich people got a plan, no doubt. If you still don't understand and believe that we are all one from the same mother, and respect each woman and man with the same consideration you would like to be given on a daily, then you need to retire so the new generation can take over and show you how to live and govern this place we call Earth home.
Everybody here, yeah.
They don't know, kid. They don't know, they don't know, but I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie, but I'm gonna say it like I know. They don't know, they don't know, that I'm gonna hit them with this shit. They don't lie, they don't lie, that I'm gonna free your mind tonight. They don't know, they don't know, that I'm gonna make it right tonight. They don't lie, they don't lie, but I'm gonna say it like I know.
Do you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night drenched in cold sweat screaming, "Oh my God, he just asked me if I needed to cut my lawn"? Do you experience a sudden surge of adrenaline and uncontrolled rage whenever you see a man wearing a tan suit or eating Dijon mustard? Do you lie awake staring at the ceiling, convinced that the former president who left offices years ago is somehow still controlling the price of milk at your local grocery store? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, you and your loved ones may be suffering from Obama derangement syndrome.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die. You voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. sometimes I think about, does love still exist? Yeah, I have my doubts. On the street, I check out how brothers be living. Yo, let's just say, kid, it ain't no Thanksgiving. We got people shooting dope, ain't never heard of hope. We got others with the gat and the brothers with the fucking scope. As I enter the project center rec rooms, some brothers might see the doom. I see my nigga Paulo, fat pockets of papes. He knows the neighborhood biddies with all the dopest shapes. They go Dralo with the blowout fro. He's got a gap, hey yo niggas gots to go. No show is live with narrating, fuck Memorex. My nigga Rollo's got a gat at Paulo's chest. One slug blasted out, down boy died. Now show me some love, kid, it sounds like a fucking
yes, you
lie.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Sometimes I think how the world come to this, a place where every man and woman needs a therapist. Mass confusion, people living in delusion, justify all the bullshit through the Constitution. Meanwhile, the masses struggle to survive. I think we're too busy to hear our people's cries. Singles mothers struggle to raise families. Genocide committed through famine and disease. I wonder if these things will ever cease to exist. I know it could if we cease and desist. Giving all the power to the industrialists, giving all our power to the damn commercialists. They see us just as being sheep in this world. They want us to do what we're told, like boys and girls. Oh God, I wanna live another day so I can help provide equality
and
this
yes, you know
day.
the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. Though we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Everybody round the globe, open up your earlobe, your third eye, and then decipher the code. Through knowledge, understanding, then bring love into the concept instead of bling bling. Truth instead of biased educational methods. Twisting, contorting God's message of love for every human being. Listen, motherfucker, don't you hear the screams? It's time to do much more than talk, debate, and spread hate. We need to think and at the same time investigate. Understand what our actions may create. Before continuing the cycle we procreate. We can clone humans, but at the same time we can't feed humans. The future of man is actually looming. It's really depressing, it's true.
And yes, you know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
I traveled the globe just to gain perspective. The theory of relativity applied. Of course, it took a while to decide how I should proceed, but either my life is truly based upon need, so I move forward with more deliberate speed. Smash corny motherfuckers that stuck on greed. My seed is worth more than $1 million in future stock. The goal is to break the safe, the padlock. Mad cats can't stop it, need a rocket. Your style is boring and cold, mine is tropic. Battles you want, commit, you'll change the topic. My partner should get to put your beat in the pocket. So this nigga here can proceed to destroy your stereotypical pop rap gangsta ploy. Not hating on niggas from the ghetto, but I'm hating on copycat rappers from the meadow. They procreate bullshit without paying a price. That's like talking about CeeLo with no dice. I drink milk, but that's about it. I won't compare dairy MCs to dope shit.
I want you full undivided in this here place. One thing to entertain and to educate. You bum ass niggas and your non-believers. You know we change your membrane every time you see us. The odds can't stand the way we make ways. The way we get love from the finest ladies. Oh my son, oh here goes another one. About to take it to the place
chocolate city. Today I'm on the march with I invited a million from the Million Man March to stomp on fake gangster rappers so they don't need starch. For the funeral suits, we shine boots and make the radio station only play the roots. Then make the television station play Alex Haley Roots and remind these motherfuckers of what? Their roots. Oops, you can't say that, bitch, it's a slap. The new world order is even under attack. You can't fight the power eating a Big Mac. Let me explain, the hamburger minerals lack style, originality, finesse, tactic, energy, maintain creatively. That's you mathematically, your presence is solved. Why? Because to tell you the truth, kid, you're lost. Now who's ball? I'll tell you, I know that brother rap clinic, of course.
Full undivided in this here place. We came to entertain and to educate your bum ass thinkers and your non-believers. You know we change your membrane every time you see us. The others can't stand where we make with ease. The way we get love from the finest ladies. Oh my son, oh here comes another one about to take it to the place that lies under the sun. Take it to the place, that take it to the place, that take it to the place that lies under the sun. Take it to the place, that take it to the place, that take it to the place that lies under the sun.
I know how to see a whack MC when he bustin', but I just back away real cool, no fussin'. I'd rather go kicking in the streets with the bums and use the knowledge to collect what? Some funds. Open a non-profit and build a damn school. And this is the story of how a great king rules. There's many that claim to know the local demographic, but don't have the nerve to tell you the truth. It's tragic, but I do, so sit back and let me spit this shit to you. You feel better when I spit this shit to you, despite the system trying to clamp down on the people. People will learn how to stand up to evil. Not evil that's across the globe, that's too far, but evil that lies in their own backyard. And fighting, it's not an option, they can't win. The government, it's not supposed to represent sin, but then again they do, and that's a problem. So let's go down and figure out how to solve them. It's not fun being a rapper that can't speak, but we do, yes, and plus we make fat beats. Yo, we smoke weed, break up trees. Listen, bringing fat beats, that is our mission. You wanted to see us, homeboy, shut up and listen. Thelonious and Big Bennett, brother, check the vision. Mentalities of different realities. Enter the Star Trek room when you hear the boom. I be the Walkman with the super bass. Automatic stop, yes, stereo cassette player. With the delayer, freaky lyrical sprayer. Extraterrestrial rhyme sayer. I be the poetical VIC/master of the ceremony. Testimony, won't you come step with me? I'm on a historical journey, kinda like Sigourney. Implore me to represent the attorney that represents my niggas. Go figure, it's the card. They call me Uncle Bigger. Niggas love your blunts, down your liquors. I be the parallel to the fiction. You're fixated on this brother's nature. Relaxed behavior, I might save your change. Flip it, rearrange the whole concept. You was good for all your brain. Insane, psychotic, neurotic, black onyx, and hooked on phonics. Just atomic, beats like a bonnet. Cut with the Asiatic, they all up on it. Rhyme static with the Bugatti type of skill. You wonder, is this nigga Vic really for real? It's still, but only necessary in the berry. I'm milk like dairy, they quite contrary. That's scary, but I'm a dog in the prairie. I scurry to grab my bones and just bury. Lyrical flurry, go get your secretary with impeccable dictions. My style might vary, so get a hold of your own shit real fast. Fucking with us, we take it right out your ass. Prairie dogs chill while the other dogs howl. Too many dogs get sent to the pound. Back on the hill, me and my peeps just lounge. Prairie dogs, we keep it on the down. Spot out
splatter. We try to climb the ladder, wicked men get better. They make it like splatter, but it really don't matter. Cause you know we coming back to our sons and our daughters. So follow him, the one who protects ya. And the mother, she will never neglect ya. Through divine nature, the people respect ya. And in this way I deliver my lecture.
And that ends our session entitled When Nature Fights Back, When Trees Have the Final Decision. Boom! See, this tree doesn't like this maggot. You see how that turned out? Look at that. Foiled by a tree. This is what you call trees in your democracy. The revenge of the trees. Trump was like, fuck green energy, and the trees was like, fuck you. When the trees have the last word. Maggot needs health insurance. Look, mommy, look at me. Sorry, baby, I won't be home on time. Peace, y'all. Peace.